You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth! Time! Tell us about yourself. Who are you?
Tell me!
It is a gift. A privilege.
Behold, my stuff.
Now you want to get nuts? Come on! Let's get nuts.
I like it.
I know, it's great, right?
Another.
Greetings and salutations. This is, in fact, the Meaning of Fandom. Yes, we're back. We are here. We are live. And it's been a while, but we're happy to be here. I am your host, Ryan of And I Quote Channel. This is the show where we talk about different characters or fandoms that mean something special to us and why within a roundtable discussion. We have special guests joining us. With that being said, joining us here, he may be fashionably late. But, you know, in other words, he's right on time. Please welcome Bruce Wayne himself, the college professor extraordinaire. Hollis is here. Hello, Hollis. How are you?
Hey, Ryan. I'm well. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here, Hollis. It's good to see you. You're looking, well, dapper. You look suited up. I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll suit up later. With that also being said, please welcome a good friend of ours. He has been taking some time for himself, other projects, all this other stuff, but he's finally back. We've missed him oh so dearly. Please welcome the man, the myth, the legend himself. Timothy B. Fling is here. Hello, good sir. How are you?
Thank you for that spirited introduction. It's great to be here, Ryan. Nice to meet you, Hollis. So yeah, I've been away from social media, for a little bit, taking care of some urgent matters. And it's tonight is my triumphant return to podcasting, I suppose. I'm excited to talk to you guys.
Yeah, well, we're honored to have you here. And I mean, of all the networks and shows and channels you could have picked to make your big return on, you chose us. So that must make it special.
I love the subjects too, man. I said this before. One thing I like is that you always provide content. Like it's good content. So this is going to be a great conversation tonight. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. He's not wrong. Also joining us, a good gentleman we met last week or so, and he's been so good, and he's been so kind and generous, and also he likes a million different things, and he and I seem to be speaking the same language, which is disturbing. It's almost like we were cut from the same cloth. Whew. Please welcome the laughing rogue himself, Chris Brown, y'all. What's up, Chris? How you doing?
Going on? How you been?
Doing well, sir. Doing well. We're fine. We're all fine here. Now, thank you. How are you? There's a reference for you. Speaking of which, they just made an announcement today saying they're going to re-release the original film in theaters in 2027. 2 years away. You know, you could have waited, but, you know, whatever.
Do they mean original or edited original?
They didn't specify. I don't know if it's the original Star Wars or if it's the special edition cut. I have no idea. Or it could be the what's the most recent one? The McClunky cut on Disney Plus. I don't know. I have no idea. But for those of you wondering what the frack that means, Star Wars is coming back to theaters for its 50th anniversary. I know I'm not dating myself. I wasn't even there. But page turners, they were not. Speaking of Star Wars fans, he's here. Brennan's here. He says, hello there. Good to see you, Brennan. Everything's falling your neck of the woods. By the way, Brennan, what was your reaction when that social media post went online saying, hey, guys, we're bringing back the original film for its 50th birthday? Duh. What else would you do? It's 50 years. 50 years. You have to. It's kind of requirement view. What do they say, Chris? It's called required viewing. That's what it is. Yeah, it's required view. That's what I was trying to think of the words, but they were beating me up here. So we're gonna go around the round table here. We're gonna go around the table, share some fandoms or characters that mean something special to us. But I want to hear from you as well. So if you're watching or listening to this program right now, do not forget to like and share this. If you're watching us live or on the replay, thank you so much for doing that. And if you have questions or comments about any of these characters or fandoms that we do mention, or something you may want to address, let us know in those comments. Let us know in the chat. I'm more than happy to hear from you, respectively, as they come in. With that being said, I'm going to turn things over to our first panelist. But before I do that, here's a little something to get us in the Meaning of Fandom / Flashback Friday mood. Take a look.
Across this nation, the words Gotham City are synonymous with crime. Our streets are overrun. Our public officials are helpless.
What are you? I'm Batman.
I'm reading your stuff.
I'm Vicky Vale.
Vicky Vale, yeah, photographer. What brings you here?
You to see some of the wildlife in Gotham City.
Who are you?
Oh, sorry, Bruce Wayne.
And what do you do for a living?
My life is really complex.
Every punk in this town is scared of Batman.
Not for the ninth time, there is no bat. If there were, we would find him. We would arrest him.
Who is this guy?
Freak. Wait till they get a load of me.
This town needs an enema.
A lot of people think you're as dangerous as the Joker.
Fuck it. I think your friend Wayne is really screwed up.
This guy's murdered in that alley.
I have given a name to my pain.
Batman.
He's out there right now. I've got to go to work.
If you gotta go, go with the smoke.
You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Hollis, I gotta say, you are my number one guy. So I gotta ask you. Hundreds and thousands of characters, hundreds and thousands of fandoms out there, but what is it about this billionaire Bruce Wayne who dressed up like a bat, gets all of my press, that keeps you up at night, Hollis? Why the Batman? I gotta know this, man.
Oh, that's a question I've asked myself a couple different times, because as people who know me well know, Batman is one of, if not the favorite superhero of all time for me. I grew up with Batman the Animated Series, BTOS. That was my first introduction to the character, and it remains my favorite version of the Batman character. But I'm also one of those people who can find something to like about every version of Batman. I have never met a version of Batman that I can't find something good to say about. So I still enjoy the Adam West TV show. I like the Brave and the Bold. I like the Chris Nolan movies. I like lots of different runs in the comics. I like Batman a lot. And why I've liked Batman for all these years is an interesting question. I think that when you're a kid, or at least when I was a kid, the initial reason Batman was my favorite superhero is because he's just so dang cool. I mean, the costume is iconic. There's a reason it hasn't changed a whole lot since his first appearance in 1939. It's a really, really cool costume. But you don't become the cultural myth that Batman is just by looking cool. There has to be something else about a character and his or her story to achieve that kind of status in a culture. Just like somebody said once, the reason that Star Wars is so popular is not just because it's entertainment. When something gets to that level of moving that many people, that means there's something else to it besides just the entertainment value. And for me, I think that what Batman represents is the concept of right and wrong morally. Because everybody knows Batman doesn't have superpowers. And that is true, right? He's just a man, which is part of what makes the stories so compelling. But I'd argue that he does have a different kind of superpower. And that superpower is that, like the Joker in The Dark Knight said, he's incorruptible. No matter what happens to him, no matter what people like the Joker throw at him, you cannot break Batman. Even Bane tried that and he came back, right? Batman cannot be broken because out of all the characters in the DCU, he seems to be the one who, no matter what version it is, never loses track of what is right and what is wrong. Even when other superheroes compromise, Batman will not compromise. And that, I think, is the thing that makes Batman so compelling, that a human being could, whether or not it's a version where he kills people or not, because people debate about whether that's moral, but the core principles of protecting innocent people of inspiring everyday people to be more than they thought they could be. No matter what version of Batman there is, he never loses sight of that. And that's why I think he's such a compelling and awesome superhero.
Man, I'll tell you what, at first I was going to say I believe in Harvey Dent. I really do. But now, because of this great explanation, I now believe in Hollis Thompson. So I just want to give it up for him. Let's hear it for him. That was great. I believe in Hollis just like I believe in Harvey Dent, man. He can change Gotham. He can make it a bigger and better place. I know he can do it. So, no.
Let's hope I don't get horribly disfigured.
No, not that
now,
part.
Ryan.
Not that part. No. You are, I mean, honestly, let me pull a Die Hard on you for a second. I mean, Hollis, Booby, I'm your White Knight. I mean, you're the White Knight, man. Serious. There's a reference for you. That goes back to 88. Jeez, I'm dating myself. But great explanation. I completely understand it. Yeah. I can't really add anything to it because you just nailed it. I mean, that's perfection.
Yeah, that was a pretty good summary.
I know, honestly, Timothy, I don't know where we go from here. I think we should just end the show now and just go out on this high note.
Thank you. Good night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
You, me, Chris, we all go out. We grab first rounds on me.
Chris.
Yeah, exactly. Chris just left. And oh, wait a minute. Now he's back. I'm sorry. So we could just go out and have some drinks and talk about Batman a little bit more. Let's talk about our, favorite comic runs of the character. We can talk about that, right? No, I'm just kidding. Otherwise, we'd be here all night. But I am curious, though, Timothy B. Fling, do you have anything you wish to add or anything you want to respond to in Hollis's explanation?
Well, absolutely. I thought that was a great summary, and I'm a huge Batman fan. I'll just quickly to add on to Hollis's story. When I was a little kid, probably about 6 or maybe 7 years old, there was an anthology that got published, and it was called Batman from the 30s to the 70s. And what it was a hardcover book, and it was a collection of the reprints of the early Batman stories, including the origin. And it was going to be a Christmas present for me, and it was hidden under my mother's bed. There was a Batman book and a Superman book, and I snuck up to her room every day, and I went under the bed and I read that book. And that's how it's one of the ways that I learned to read. And by the time Christmas rolled around, I had read the whole thing.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I wish I were that crafty when I was trying to sneak in to get those gifts before Christmas, or try to read them or play with them or whatever it was. Depends on what the object was, right? But my goodness.
But I agree with Hollis' assessment. Like I said, there's no room for anything other than his way. He's incorruptible in the sense that he's so filled with anger, there isn't any room for anything to corrupt him, right? It's kind of like almost the opposite of Superman, kind of.
Yeah.
Which I admit I like Superman too, but I do like Batman better. Go ahead, Hollis.
Yeah, world's finest.
Yeah, in many ways. I actually just yesterday was finishing watching the animated adaptations of The Dark Knight Returns, which are on YouTube for free right now, free with ads.
Good
stuff. If anyone's interested, along with a bunch of those animated DC movies.
Yeah,
some are better quality than others, I will say.
Dark Knight Returns is solid.
It was. I actually thought it was a really solid adaptation.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I thought was really cool that story tackles, and also that the animated movie showed really well, is the ultimate conflict in that movie is between Batman and Superman. And that version of Superman is so moral in the sense that he defines doing the right thing as doing what the governing authorities tell you to do. Do what the president says, follow the whims of the lawmakers. And Batman's objection to that is that in that world, the government was corrupt. And Batman holds on to the universal concept of right and wrong more than whatever the power structure says is right or wrong. And that's what ultimately brings him in conflict with Superman. And I think the reason Batman is the good guy in that movie and Superman is not is because, as most people know, you can't just define right and wrong based on what the people in power tell you, because they can be corrupt and they can try to define right and wrong in a way that benefits them. You have to have another standard that's more than that. And Batman ultimately is the one who represents that in that movie.
Plus, there's nothing wrong with RoboCop being the law of Gotham. Tonight, we are the law. It's just like, wait a minute, that's RoboCop. RoboCop is Batman. Batman is RoboCop. Okay, this is okay. I mean, if you want to play it like that, that's because Peter Weller was the voiceover of Batman. I don't know if anyone knew this or not, but in the Dark Knight Returns animated movie,
yes,
it's RoboCop as Batman. And I'm thinking to myself,
yes.
yeah, that okay, that kind of. I'm a little bit I wouldn't say upset because I can't say I'm upset, but I will say I'm just a tad bit disappointed that Batman or Bruce Wayne, either one, whether he's confronting Clark or Superman in one of those sequences, Hollis, where he doesn't walk up to him and say, look, Superman or Clark, whichever one he wants to say, one way or another, dead or alive, man, you're coming with me. All right. Dead or alive. Doesn't matter. So it's like, if they dropped a little bit of nugget of RoboCopiness in there, that would have been geek cred nice. But but then again, RoboCop's owned by MGM, and Batman's owned by Warner Brothers, so it might be a rights issue, but still, would have been nice for him to say, "Dead or alive, you're coming with me." It just would have been nice. Just saying. Any RoboCop fans? I like that movie.
I'm a huge RoboCop fan.
I like that, but yeah, it's crazy that movie. It's something else, man. Honestly, it really is. Chris, any reaction to Hollis's brilliant A++ dissertation of Batman over there?
Yeah, there is absolutely a lot of different Batman characters or versions for just about anybody. I wanted to show I had.
Oh yeah,
here.
Yeah,
there it is.
Chris, that's the best one, man.
Yeah, I got these last year for Christmas.
I was going to say, where'd you get those? Because I want copies of both of those. One of the Joker and one of the Batman. Is that what that was?
Yeah, Frank Miller's complete Batman and the stacked deck Joker. Yeah.
Ooh. Okay. All right.
Does that have the Frank Miller Year One stuff in it with David Mazzucchelli?
Oh, brutal honesty, I didn't want to crack the spine, so I didn't open it.
If you hold up the spine, it might say it on there. Let me see the spine.
Says
it depends on the printing.
Yeah, Batman.
Some printings of that.
Yeah. Oh, right, man. That's the best one. That's the best one. Good stuff. Most people talk about The Dark Knight Returns, and I get it that's the classic one. But I not prefer, but Year One I think is the best one because the art.
Mm.
I do think that,
and even if you like
Frank Miller's art style is an acquired taste. You either like it or you don't. It's kind of the thing.
Right.
But I do agree that the art of Batman Year One is the style is something I think is more Batman-y than Frank Miller's necessarily.
A good storyline too.
Yeah, it's a really good story.
Good story, and they kind of adapted that to a certain extent. It was loosely, I want to say. I mean, I know there's a DC animated film, right? Hollis of Batman Year One.
There is a DC animated film.
But in the live action, Robert Pattinson, that has shades of a little bit, not a whole lot, but shades of.
No, yeah, I get that.
The Robert Pattinson, the most recent one with Matt Reeves directed, if I'm remembering that correctly.
Yeah, I like that one.
Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves, I know you're watching this.
Oh,
Where's our Batman 2, man? Where's the sequel? Give us the flipping sequel already, man. I want to see it.
They said
they're bogged down in the new DC cinematic universe. I'm thinking that's probably.
Don't give me that.
I know.
James,
but they're probably the studio execs are probably thinking really hard about whether they want to make a sequel to that or whether they want to reboot and do a new Batman within the new universe, or if they want to do both. I am assuming those conversations are happening right now.
I saw an article come out that says Pattinson will not, in fact, be DCU's Batman. They're going to pick somebody else. And I'm like, listen, if Batman wants to have his own set of movies in the Matt Reeves universe, and then you have a Batman in the new DCU, that's fine. I don't care. I really don't care. But make a decision. Give us a Batman Part 2, okay? Because the way the first one ends, I'm like, dang, this is a good setup for the first year or two of his career. But let's see where he goes with this, man. I want to see the detective work. I want to see it. So get on it, Hollywood. You're killing me, Smalls.
Bring back Batfleck.
Well,
yeah,
that's
I like Batfleck too. I'm on the fringe on this one.
Never going to happen.
It's never going to happen.
Guys, I did not love, out of all the movies, my least favorite interpretation is the Christian Bale version. And by the way, I love Christian Bale. I'm not a hater. Look, I love the guy. I love the director. But I think that if you just a quick, for instance, in the Pattinson version, it's got a little bit of an emphasis on the detective part, which I felt was a way stronger element. Whereas in the Nolan versions, which he's great, he's a titan, I get it, but there was long stretches without really too much action. And even the Bane one, it just felt like maybe it's the pacing, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean,
I think Rises is the weakest of the Chris Nolan movies.
Everyone says that. Everyone says it. Every single person I've talked to has said it's the weakest. And some people even have said to me on record that they don't even count the third one because to them, for them, in their opinion, by the way, this is opinion, not a fact. In their opinion, Hollis, it's a horrible movie. And I'm like, No, it's
I wouldn't
not.
say it's a horrible
just,
movie.
You're just looking at it from you're looking at it the wrong potentially. I'm just saying potentially the wrong way. The way I look at it is this is an arc of Bruce Wayne as well as it is Batman, but at the same time, like when Bane breaks him and he has to go to that hole and that prison, there's themes, there's depth explored, and the score. Let's not forget about Hans Zimmer here for a second. Without Hans Zimmer's score, Dark Knight Rises would not be half as good as it is. I mean, because when he's climbing up that wall, do you see what I'm saying? When he escapes the hole of death, that whole darkness thing, like I'm thinking to myself, that is just badass. It's great
it's tough. We don't want to hate on that movie because you got the people that worked on it are like the titans of the industry.
Yeah,
but going back to what Chris said, like the Batfleck version got tons of hate at first, and I actually thought that movie was good too. I liked Batman versus Superman, and the fight scenes in it were so close to the Dark Knight Returns. You know,
the warehouse.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah,
the warehouse scene, Chris. Yeah.
It was, and when I rewatched when I watched the animated Dark Knight Returns, it occurred to me how close Zack Snyder tried to stick to the Dark Knight Returns.
And by the way,
my problem is that I wish he would have just made that movie instead of Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, I mean, everybody
would have rather he just made a live action Dark Knight Returns.
Well,
than that.
First of all, Hollis, you're 100% right, and here's just a quick example. You know, he's also the Dawn of the Dead guy, right?
Yeah. Did he make
the remake, the 2004 version? Am I
remake?
wrong? Is that Zack Snyder?
Zack Snyder?
He's the Watchmen guy,
right? And where I'm going with this is he has kind of this history, especially in the comics, where the shots are really they're planned out like you know. Of course,
like
they're all storyboards. Yeah, but his panels, like in Watchmen and in the warehouse scene, it's almost like he's taking them right out of the book. Which, by the way, I like. I'm not hating on that either.
I don't hate it.
I'm suggesting that's why the pacing is better. Like when you talk about going back to Nolan, hey, everything's these big sweeping vistas, and it's very cinematography, right? It's beautiful, but I think the other way works better. The quick clipped, like this comic book scenes.
Cut right to the chase. Yeah, which is fine. Doesn't bother me. Yeah, that's the beauty of this character that you brought up earlier, Hollis. You said there's not one bad Dark Knight in the bunch, even though I can make an argument for you.
Yeah, I'd like to hear it.
Listen, I never said there wasn't a bad one. I never said that.
I mean, it sounds like you love all of them, and I'm like, wait a minute, are we serious?
Yeah, I want to hear. Can I ask Hollis a question?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So it seems like you've got a handle on this. Let's do film versions, and you can go the whole way back to the 40s. What is the best Batman adaptation, and what is the worst? And you have to pick. Somebody's holding a gun on you.
Think of it as Joe Chill
here's
from
an
Gotham
important caveat to clarify. If you're talking about film versions, does that include Mask of the Phantasm? Since
that was a theatrically released film, Timothy, you got to remember Kevin Conroy's movie was released theatrically in '93.
I don't think I know that one.
Well, Mask of the Phantasm? You never? Oh boy.
Okay. Well, in that case, I'm going to default.
Wait, Mask of the Phantasm, is that is it animated?
It's based off the animated series,
but it was released in theaters.
Yeah. I look, I don't have anything against the animated ones. I love animation, but there's so many, you know.
Well, there's only
indeed. I'm just saying.
It is a theatrically
if we're going to exclude,
go back to actors playing Batman.
Okay. Ouch. Kevin Conroy is rolling in his grave. But live action actors.
I just don't know it. I don't mean to. I'm not besmirching him.
I'm going to say, you got some homework to do after this show, man.
I'm not familiar with it.
So if you're going to force me with a gun at my head to say who was the best live action Batman.
Yeah, live action. Let's think about that.
Yeah. Oh.
There's some good ones, man.
There are.
Some good ones, too. Where's the Jeopardy song when you need it, Alex?
I know,
but it's copyrighted, so we can't use it.
Oh, I better start.
Right?
Yeah, exactly, Chris. We can't use it. So
okay, I'm actually gonna pick probably a weird choice for most people. Because one more caveat before I say this.
Okay,
this has nothing to do with the overall quality of the film that I'm picking.
Got it.
So I'm picking what default I think is the best Batman, regardless of what he had to work with in terms of the quality of the script and the quality of the film. I'm actually gonna default to Val Kilmer.
Val Kilmer, wow!
Overall Batman, because
Val Kilmer.
I think that, for instance, Christian Bale. My problem with Christian Bale is the voice. I think that was a horrible, horrible mistake to do the Batman, the gravelly, I'm Batman voice that everyone rightfully makes fun of. I think that was a misstep I think that was the biggest problem with his performance, which I really like otherwise, right?
Yeah, it's a
I
great
think
movie.
that if he had a proper Batman voice, he would be my favorite Batman. But he screwed that one up, sadly, as much as I love Christian. He screwed that one up.
Screwed that one up.
And so because of that, my next choice is going to be Val Kilmer, because I think Val Kilmer is giving you a middle ground between all the different versions of Batman. He is somewhere in the middle of a really dark, like Ben Affleck Batman and a super campy Adam West. He doesn't go too far to any side. He's kind of the nice center of all the different things that Batman could be. And for that reason, if you're gonna make me pick one, which is a hard thing to do, that's
a
what
very hard thing to do. Val Kilmer
I think that's a great choice.
95's Batman
Listen,
Forever.
hey, I
That was a
didn't see
bold
that one
choice.
coming. I didn't see it coming, so that's why.
Well,
that's why I like to ask.
None of us did.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing: if they wouldn't have had Bale's voice the way it was, we wouldn't have had Pete Holmes as Batman. And if you've never seen Pete Holmes Batman, his Batman parody, oh my God, you're missing out on everything.
No, I haven't.
Yeah,
I
Mask
think
of the
I know who you
Phantasm was pretty good. Yeah.
Now, my favorite Batman in any media is definitely Kevin Conroy's Batman
Conroy,
from Batman the Animated Series. That is 100% my favorite.
I'm familiar with the art style and stuff, but I haven't really seen it.
The reason is, first of all, his voice to me just is the voice of Batman. When I read the comics, it's Kevin Conroy's voice in my head.
Voice.
He is an amazing voice actor. And the second reason for that is that Batman and Batman the Animated Series, and I'm not the first person to point this out, so don't claim that this is a Hollis Thompson original idea. No. But the Batman that we get in that series is a Batman who, yes, still has the trauma and the darkness that he's gone through and that he lives in. But at the same time, he is also a Batman who is deeply compassionate, not just to people in general, but to his enemies. Because most of those episodes humanize the villains to an extent that media hadn't done before. With Mr. Freeze, for example, and the Mad Hatter, and all of these people that you see, these aren't evil people. Clayface. Yeah, these aren't evil people. These are sick people. These are people who are mentally ill, who have had a bad day that Batman can innately understand. And most of the time, with the exception of the Joker, who's just pure evil, right? But besides him, right, everybody else, like, there are so many episodes that end with Batman, like, putting a hand on the shoulder of a villain who is breaking down in tears. And to me, that's the reason he is the best version, or my favorite version anyway, of Batman. Somebody who does stand up for what's right, but also has that compassion in him because he knows what it's like to go through those things.
Yeah. Fair point. Fair point. Man, this turned into a DC Batman discussion all of a sudden. Gee, what has happened to this show? We've gone so far off the... No, we've continued on the rails. Page Turner's Aeronaut says Mask of the Phantasm is quite a good film. And then he goes on to say Michael Keaton is probably my personal favorite iteration of Batman. All right. Listen.
Yeah, he was good too.
Michael Keaton is in the top 3 for me.
You are not the first and you will not be the last, Brennan, who has mentioned Michael Keaton on numerous occasions that their favorite iteration of Batman is Michael Keaton's version. Because listen, first Batman I ever saw was 89 Batman. That's the first one I ever saw. And then right after that, the animated series came out, Hollis, in 92. So it's like all these different iterations just followed through every couple of years. There was a new version of Batman. I was just soaking up.
And you could even maybe say that because of Michael Keaton's Batman, there were successful superhero films before that one. Superman, the Christopher Reeve Superman.
Superman.
But if you remember, the Michael Keaton Batman movie was like an explosion. Like, remember, there was a song and there was a Prince soundtrack. And it was on every T-shirt in the world.
Batmania was everywhere.
It was a thing.
Yeah, I wish I was honestly, you know, I mean, granted, I was born in the 80s, ladies and gentlemen, even though I'm dating myself here a little bit. But I got to be honest with you, Timothy. I was too, you know, young to understand movieology and understand movie mania and Batmania and all this stuff. And I never saw the original in theaters until they re-released it many years later for, I believe it was his 30th anniversary, I want to say. They did a re-release of all 4 Batman movies from 1989, 1997, respectively. And I saw the first, I think I saw 1 and 3 I don't think I went and saw Returns because it's a Tim Burton movie, not a Batman movie. And then Batman and Robin never happened, never existed, never is in a multiverse somewhere out that doesn't exist. So I saw 1 and 3, and I thought to myself, this was fun. This was great. I actually saw 89 on the big screen, and I loved it. I loved it. I mean, I've loved it for years, but seeing it on the big screen is a totally different vibe, ladies and gentlemen. It's a true fact of nature. For those of you just tuning in, this is the Meaning of Fandom, aka the dissertation of Batman, hosted by Hollis Thompson, and everyone else is just whatever. Don't forget, I know, right? Don't forget to like and share this with everybody you know. If you have any thoughts, comments, questions, or concerns for Hollis's mental well-being when it comes to Batman and his OCD about it, let us know in the I don't mean this is a bad thing. Let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. And if you're watching us live on the replay, hello there. Thanks for being here and enjoying the insanity that ensues because we have given a name to our pain, and it is Hollis. No, I'm just kidding. Hollis, you're never a pain in the rump, man. You're the bee's knees. You're the cat's pajamas. To be quite honest with you, Hollis, the way you're dressed up, the way you presented this dissertation earlier tonight, you are so money you don't even know it. Honestly, I'm telling you, you're money. See, he's got that jacket. Look at this jacket. This is an insane-looking jacket that he has on.
Oh, that is cool, man.
In his studio. And I'm thinking to myself, where does a guy like me get a jacket like that? Because honestly, it's, chances are we bought him already. Love that Joker. I'm sorry. I can quote 89 all night, Timothy. I can quote it all night, son. I love that movie so hard. But with that,
I'm a fan. Hey, a little trivia. We talk about the production design of Gotham City. He was Anton Furst.
Yes.
Remember this?
Yeah.
And has this sort of dark and dystopian Gotham that everybody loved, and then he killed himself.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it was very tragic.
Very tragic.
The reason why I mentioned this, when you watch the movie and you see the set design, you can feel sort of a
dread.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sort of a
depressive, oppressive style.
Yeah, like it's really dystopian, not like a fake dystopian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear about that, gentleman, by the way.
Yeah, I hope that wasn't too dark of a trip.
Yeah, I mean, we just went from here to there, but thanks anyway, though. No. I'm sorry to hear about that. Anton Furst, great production designer, great person to work behind the scenes.
Beautiful work.
Their memory is going to live on forever. That is for sure. And speaking of Val Kilmer, he passed away not too long ago, too. Man. So R.I.P. to that dark night. Because we miss you, Val Kilmer. He was a great actor too. Not with Batman, but outside of that, he did so many great things. Doc Holliday, anybody? I'm your Huckleberry.
I was gonna say that's my.
I'm your Huckleberry,
He's
Timothy.
Huckleberry, right.
I'm your Huckleberry.
Absolutely.
I was just fooling about. I wasn't. What's the catchphrase we always use, Timothy? Johnny Ringo. You look like someone just walked over your grave.
Yeah,
I mean, come on, man. I just rewatched Tombstone earlier this week. I did. I kid you not. You guys should go back and revisit that Western. It's a good one. It really is.
That's also Sam Elliott's in that movie.
It is. Well, I mean, Sam Elliott's in everything, though.
Yeah, every Western.
And
I'm a Sam Elliott fan, too.
Well, who isn't a Sam Elliott fan? Here's a fun fact to you before I turn things over to our next panelist. The first time I ever saw Sam Elliott was in a family-friendly film called Prancer.
Oh,
that holiday movie about the little girl who takes in Prancer, one of Santa's reindeer that went missing. It's a family-friendly movie, folks. I'm not even kidding you. It's legit. And you know who plays her best friend in that movie? Ariana Richards from Jurassic Park.
Oh.
The blonde girl, the blonde, the hacker. Yeah. She's in it.
Yeah.
By the way, this is before she was in Jurassic Park. I just want to make that clear. Because the movie originally came out, I want to say it was 88 there, Timothy, 89. If you Google it, it's listed somewhere. And it is streaming. You can find it streaming somewhere, I'm sure. But look up the holiday film Prancer. It's a great film to watch with your loved ones and your family. It's really... It's heartfelt. It is a bit, sad, gloomy in the beginning, but it lights up a bit towards the middle and a little bit towards the end. But it's a journey to get there. Let me just put it that way. Yeah, that's a dissertation. The Dark Knight is in my top 5 films of all time, by the way, says Brennan in the chat. Okay, you're not the first person, and you won't be the last, my friend. And then he goes on to say, Tombstone is great. Yes, it is. And if you haven't seen it in a while, or you never even heard of it, look it up on streaming. It's somewhere, right? Just Google it. It's there. I'm your Huckleberry. We miss you, Val. We miss you. So before I turn things over to our next panelists, and hopefully we steer away from the name of our pain, which is Batman, you must possess strength to inflict pain, Hollis. We've got a flying mouse to kill, and I want to clean my claws. Sorry, Jack Nicholson owns that part so hard. But next panelists, let's talk about their fandom for a second. Before we do, here's this.
My dark passenger is like a trapped coal miner, always tapping, always letting me know it's still in there, still alive. Tonight's the night. And it's going to happen again and again. The night when a primal, sacred need calls to me. I've waited. It's time. Hello?
Dexter, I need you to go to an all-night pharmacy right away.
I'm kind of in the middle of something.
Whatever you're drinking, wait.
Kids. Dexter Morgan, good suburban husband, happy father of 3. On paper, anyway.
You better be a cop.
No, forensics.
That was my favorite blood spatter analyst.
Who are you?
I'm the person who's going to keep you from killing any more women.
You give me the creeps. You know that, Dexter?
Yeah, I know. Sorry about that.
What happened changed something inside you. We can do something to channel it. There are people out there who do really bad things, and the police can't catch them all.
You were decent and good.
I'm not.
Want to know a secret? Daddy kills people.
Not really anybody else I can tell about that, you know?
Hello, Dexter Morgan.
Preparation is vital, and the ritual is intoxicating. Catching monsters is what I do best.
Don't forget, tell the universe what you need.
I really need to kill somebody.
So we've gone from one element of darkness right into another. So I'm sensing a pattern here, gentlemen. This is creeping me out, going to give me nightmares for weeks and weeks to come. So that's an image that's going to keep me up tonight. Thanks. So Chris, Dexter,
Yes.
Michael C. Hall, if I'm not mistaken. Why are you such a fan of this character? Should we be rooting for him? Should we not be rooting for him? Should he be in handcuffs? Should he be out there doing what he does best? I don't know, but explain it to us.
Sure. I actually think he's the one that most people want to root for, but they won't admit to it. Because he's doing precisely what most people would want to do to other serial killers, right? You want to take them out. And the fact that, I've studied psychology for a good number of years. That's one of my degrees are in. And he embodies what I tell a lot of people is that we all have different personalities, and it's the ones that we present to people. Like, you don't know if this is the real me or not. You know what I'm putting out here. And it's the same way he does there. When he goes into work, he's the happy-go-lucky carrying on. But when it's time, then it switches. And he becomes the person that's needed in those times. And again, that's honestly one of the reasons why, not to bring it back to Batman, but I will. Dexter guarantees that they won't ever hurt anybody again. Unlike the Joker, who's going to keep killing and killing and killing because he's still allowed to be there. And again, that's one of the reasons why I like the guy, is because he does what needs to be done. That's pretty much it.
Okay, I gotcha. I mean, granted, I'm familiar with the series. I know that Jennifer Carpenter, who's a wonderful actress, shows up. I believe it's Julie Benz, I want to say, is his wife, shows up in the series, respectively. And there's a whole host of other great guest stars or recurring characters, whatever it may be. So, the one I forget I don't even know who the character is, but when he when he pushes the storage locker closed and he shows up from behind him, surprise, blankety blank. I'm like, okay, that's a way to get somebody's attention, isn't it, Chris? But just out of curiosity, is that his name? What was the character's name?
What's that?
What was it? Oh, the person.
I was going to say the funny thing is that Carpenter was actually Michael C. Hall's wife.
Yeah, it's
like for real.
Wow. Okay.
So they were.
I don't know how long they were married.
And they got
are they still married?
No, they got divorced mid-show.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Well, maybe she couldn't take being in that world of Dexter for too. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a marriage counselor, so who the heck knows what goes on in that situation? Sorry, but Hollis, any thoughts on the psychology of a character known as Dexter from the original Showtime series, or are you just going to stick with the DCology part of your life and not worry about?
I'll say this. I know what Dexter is, but I've never watched the series, so I don't really have a lot to say. I'll just say this: what the type of vibes I'm getting from that trailer and from what you're saying, Chris, and from what I know previously, is that Dexter is like the Punisher, only a nerd, and you basically get Dexter, somebody who is not a military person. Or he's into forensics, so it's more of the geeky, sciencey type field. And yet he has the same moral philosophy of the Punisher, which is to kill really bad people that the justice system has failed to adequately, in his view, deal with. So that's, I think, an interesting topic. Just as a concept, it's an interesting, and like you said, it's a moral conundrum. Because from what I understand, he doesn't just like kill the serial killers.
Yeah, it's like a very specific.
Yeah, he like puts them through the kind of torment that they put their victims through. So he takes it a little farther than the Punisher. The Punisher doesn't really care as long as they're in the ground, right? Like he doesn't really. The Punisher isn't sadistic. He's actually very. What's the word I'm looking for? I talked about the Punisher before. The Punisher is very methodical. He's very practical. His goal is not to necessarily to inflict pain on these people. It's just to make sure that they're dead. Dexter, to me, seems to have much more of a psychotic, sadistic side to him than that.
Well, it is more about the punishment with it, and the forensic side is to make sure you're not going to get caught. Whereas the Punisher doesn't care; he'll mow down an entire, Italian restaurant if he needs to. But Dexter is going to make sure that there's nobody around. He makes sure that this is a person that would fit the criteria to be killed, and then takes them to what he calls the kill room, which is wrapped in plastic, make sure everything's clean. When you kill them, cut them up into pieces, throw them off the boat into the Bay Harbor, which is why he's called the Bay Harbor Butcher in the show.
Ah, okay, all right.
Yeah. So he tries to hide it, tries to make sure he doesn't get caught, so he can keep doing what he's doing. Whereas, like you said, the Punisher's nothing. He doesn't. He'll take him out whenever they're at.
Okay. Wow.
Also, I'll ask this question. So, like in the Punisher's case, it really is about his sense of justice, like what is right and what is wrong. Is that what drives Dexter, or is it more like he's the type of person who would be a serial killer anyway, but he's got a conscience unlike them? So the only types of people that he can justify torturing and murdering are people who torture and murder people. Like, is that kind of the vibe, or what's going on there?
You're close. He does not have anything even resembling a conscience. He's completely what they would call a psychopath, right?
Yeah.
But when he was a baby, spoiler alert if you've never seen it, there was a traumatic event, and it pretty much shut off the emotional part of the old brain. But the person that adopted him ended up giving him this training where it said, yes, I can see that you're trying to kill. You want to do it. And the guy said, here's what you're going to do. I'll teach you how to not get caught, because the guy was a cop himself. But you only go after people that deserve it. The killers, the bad people. But yes, if he didn't have that, it'd probably be grandma down the street. It's just an urge to kill.
All right, makes sense. I mean, I like Hollis. I've never seen the show. I've seen clips. I've seen promos. Obviously, I know big name actors and actresses have shown up on set filming parts. Whether it's Carpenter, whether it's Julie Benz, whether it's who was the person we saw on that show? John Lithgow is in it for a time, right? He shows up. I believe, yeah. I believe the girl from Chuck. I'm trying to think of her name. Doggone it, the blonde.
Yeah, Was she Hannah? She played Hannah.
Yeah. Like she
I don't
shows
remember her
up, and
name.
I'm like, this is a stacked cast, man. Like, they got some big names in this thing. I'm just saying. But anyway, Timothy B. Fling from Earth Dog Studios. Any what am I trying to say? Any familiarity with Dexter or not?
Yeah, I think it's a great show. I think it's well written. It kind
Mm-hmm.
of goes back to what Hollis was saying before about the anti-hero. Because if you think about it, Dexter is also kind of incorruptible in his way. You know, it's very much based on the. I guess you'd say it's a disturbing anti-hero. You know, like more so than the Punisher. I don't know if that's 100. I'd say that's a pretty apt metaphor, but there's more. Like his psychological stuff is more complex, like Chris was saying. Like he's definitely a disturbed individual and kind of, he's not really a likable character too much, I don't think. Do you agree with that, Chris?
Yeah, you're not really supposed to
identify with him.
Yeah, you're not going to want to go to a barbecue with the guy.
But, yeah, he's gross, kind of.
But no, yeah, but the fun is in the understand, like empathizing with why he's doing it. You're like, yeah, I want to get him too. So.
So it's interesting in the sense that, a lot of American fiction is that way. It's based on this sort of like a revenge trope. And it's even true in what I'm going to talk about in the horror market. But more so in these kind of, like Batman's a great example of it. And he's definitely an anti-hero. And Dexter especially might be one of the most hardcore anti-heroes that is out there. Like I would say that's a pretty extreme version. But in conclusion, you got a great script. It's really well directed. Again, it has a little bit of a quick pacing, and it also has sort of some cool visuals. Like I remember the intro visuals are pretty cool, and it's got like a slick modern graphic design to the directing style.
Yeah. I mean,
you agree with that, Chris?
Yeah. And I also like that he's completely unreliable as far as a narrator goes. What he's remembering, it's the beach analogy. Okay, if you go to the beach and you enjoy the sun, the sand, and everything, you're going to love it. It's going to be a great time for you. If I go there, I'm going to hate it. I'd rather be sitting in a snowbank. So the way that he is remembering events probably isn't exactly the way that they really happened. Just like oh my God, it's the Ryan Reynolds movie. I can picture it, schizophrenia movie, because the way he sees things is all nice, neat, and clean, but the reality of it is he has heads in his fridge. So again, what's real?
The actor's good too. He was really good.
Oh yeah,
he's the guy from. He was in a show called 6 Feet Under.
6 Feet Under.
If you've never seen that, that's pretty good too. Where they run a funeral home, and it's like a really dysfunctional family that runs a funeral home.
Jeez. So Michael C. Hall has a lot of experience deeping in dark subject matter in his career. That's for sure. Yeah. Maybe he has his own personal dark room. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. I have no. Like I said, and then you mentioned before he was married to wonderful actress Jennifer Carpenter at one point. I don't know what happened to that marriage. Who knows how that fizzled out? Maybe there was too much darkness. I have no idea. I have no idea.
I can say halfway through the show, around season 3 or 4, if you notice, he gets a weird haircut because he got cancer. And and then so he was pushing through the show with that. So that's why some of the later seasons are kind of off. But hey, fought through, came back. Now they're on. They went through Dexter New Blood, Original Sin, and now they're in Resurrection.
Jeez. Can't keep a good actor or a good storyline down, can you, fellas?
Right.
I mean, my gosh, if Dexter's going to continue for this long, I mean, look at Criminal Minds. Criminal Minds is like rebranded itself 2 or 3 times, and it's what is it, like 25-year run, Chris, and it's still going, man. It's still going. So, although the female actresses have their hair color has changed because they realize how old they're getting. Paget Brewster and who's the other one? J.J. Giroux, Jennifer Giroux. The actress's name, I can't think of it. But she and Paget Brewster's hairstyles has changed over the years. It's like, hey, you've been doing this for a while. Your hair is not going to stay. I'm sorry to say, it's not going to stay the same color forever. I don't think. I mean, unless you do the what do you call it, dyeing your hair or changing, putting highlights in it. You know what I mean? It's something that people do. I don't know. Any other thoughts? Any other? Yeah. See, look at Chris's hair. His hair hasn't changed. So I mean, you still have the same haircut you had when you were 20, right? So it's fine. Yeah, you're not losing it, right? We're fine.
I know right where it is.
Exactly. You know, that's a reason that our good friend Timothy B. Fling has the Ron Howard look going on. He wears a cap everywhere he goes.
I haven't had hair in 30 years.
Really? I thought. Oh, okay.
I started shaving my head when I was 24, 25, something like that.
No kidding.
Maybe. Yeah, it's about right.
I was not aware of this, but I like the Ron Howard look.
Well, thanks. It's kind of my trademark. I always have a character.
Yep.
Yeah. Always be promoting your stuff.
Do you guys remember? I'm going to ask the room. Do you guys know what that fandom is?
Sleaze Stacks.
Oh, is that what
Tell
that
them, Chris. It's from the Land of the Lost.
Land of the Lost.
Land of the Lost. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Is that, by the way, is that there's like 3 different iterations of Land of the Lost? Are you talking about the original 70s version?
It's the good one, right? I think there's only 2 versions.
Okay, well, there was the 70s and there was the 90s.
There's a 70s one, which is very imaginative and very kind of sci-fi and terrific. One of the better shows that's ever been written. And there's a new one with Will Ferrell that's like, I even like Will Ferrell, but the movies, it just misfired. Sometimes it doesn't quite click. That one didn't click for me. And that's not me. I'm also not a Will Ferrell hater or something. Like, I think Elf is a classic and the guy's funny, but something didn't quite go right. Yeah. And I also would say maybe I got a bias because look, this is one man's opinion. Don't listen to me. What do I know? But if you're remaking The Land of the Lost, why would you redo it as a comedy? That's the kind of thing like Jurassic Park, for example. It's the closest to that. Like, if you remade Jurassic Park as a comedy, people who love Jurassic Park would go, huh? Right? Maybe. So to me, it didn't work. Like I say, that's one man's opinion. Feel free to flame me in the comments,
Yeah, there's really a rare time where that kind of a thing can work. Like, you went from First Blood. First Blood was a personal story. Then you went to Rambo, which was a full-blown crazy action movie.
Over the top.
Rambo First Blood Part 2.
Part 2, yeah.
That's a long title, by the way. Why? Yeah.
That's why I just never call it Rambo. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because Sylvester Stallone went on record by saying, I want all my movies to like mention the character and mention what number of what sequence we are within the series, because otherwise people aren't going to know what movie we're doing. So that's why they renamed it Rambo First Blood, because originally it was just going to be called First Blood 2, but they're like, no. We don't want to confuse the audience too much, guys. Let's rename it Rambo First Blood, but it's part 2 of First Blood. And now we get all the, like I said, and then there's Rambo 3, there was Rambo 2008, and then there was Rambo Less Blood. And yes, I have all 5 movies on Blu-ray, and I have the first 3 on DVD, okay? Because I'm a Rambo fan. Okay, all right. Just want to point that out there. They drew First Blood, not me. All right, Timothy? They drew First Blood, sir. They did. It's, man, Brian Dennehy as that sheriff. Whoo! Man, because I grew up watching him as the father in Tommy Boy. And I didn't know he had movies and other stuff before that. So when I watch him in First Blood and he's this nasty, horrible, disrespectful, sheriff in this small town, Chris, I'm thinking to myself, Brian Denny, what did you do? What did he do to you? All he wanted was something to eat, man. It's all Rambo wanted was something to eat. What are you doing? But he drew First Blood. So, I'm just saying. By the way, there was a iteration of Land of the Lost I wanted to mention here real quick. This came out between 1991 and 1992. This is a photo of the cast here.
Oh,
all right.
Yeah.
So I grew up on Nickelodeon. All right. Nickelodeon in the 90s was peak television for us 90s kids. All right, folks?
Yeah, of course.
It's 90s peak television. So you have this cast here. It's about a father and his children. They're in their Jeep. They're going out to a family vacation. And all of a sudden, there's this earthquake that happens, Timothy. And their car falls into the crack, goes down into this mystical cavern, and as soon as the cavern opens up and they drive out of it, the theme song kicks in. Living in the land of the lost.
Right. I can tell you from looking at this shot, and I can sense Chris is a Land of the Lost fan.
Mm-hmm.
To me, this does not nail the aesthetic of the Land of the Lost. The Land of the Lost, at its heart, is a little bit of a scary story, and it's not this. You can look at the creatures here, and they're lighthearted.
Yeah.
The fact is, if it was the old version, it would be more like run to get to the cave for your survival. They'd be getting ready to bite you. And by the way, it's not a violent show. I guess it's more inferred. But you'll see what I mean. Check it out. And it's also got a bunch of weird sci-fi tropes. I mentioned the writers earlier, and several of the episodes were written by 70s sci-fi writers, including there's 1 or 2 Star Trek writers, things like that. So compared to 70s Saturday morning cartoons, which is where that show came out, it was relatively sophisticated.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fair enough.
For example, time travel, and they could affect the weather by rearranging the crystals, and they were constantly being chased by these creatures.
Yep.
Yeah, and when I say chased, remember they're slow.
Rubber monsters.
Yeah, and it made it really sort of like ominous and scary. They're always coming out of the mist, all scary. Good stuff.
Interesting. And the girl, and it's funny though, because the girl who's in that jungle-ish looking outfit, she was on Earth at one point, but then she also got transported to the Land of the Lost, and then she had to become a warrior. So it's kind of like the Jumanji thing. She gets sucked into the world, and she has to become a fighter, and she becomes a warrior. And then the boy who was in that photo there of the cast, the son of the family, obviously has an attraction to her because it's, she's a beautiful woman. Why not? But the series aired between 1991 and 1992, Timothy. So if you want to do some digging on that,
I will. And as a matter of fact, Ryan, you and I have mentioned this briefly. I'm also a DVD and Blu-ray collector. So
there you go. Yeah. Well, it might be available on physical media. I don't know for sure because a lot of the Nickelodeon shows kind of got lost in the weeds there, but it might be available on physical media. I don't know. I do know a vendor who sells the series on Blu-ray or DVD. I have to give him a call. Well, I do have his contact info. But anyway, long story short, I grew up on Nickelodeon. That's how I know what Land of the Lost is. But then years later, when I grew older and a little bit wiser, when I got gray hairs in the back of my head here, I found out that there was an original Land of the Lost before this one. I was like, oh, so this was a remake / reboot of an original series from the 70s.
There are conventions, like comic conventions, where they do Land of the Lost.
They were actually at this convention I was just at, Timothy. I kid you not. The blonde-haired actress, and I think maybe it was the brother and the sister, the duo, the 2 actors who are still with us. They do shows where they actually have a set that they built at their booth, and they have their selfie.
Oh, you get in the raft and take a selfie.
You get in the raft and they do that.
I would totally do that, by the way. I would totally unironically do that. That looks like terrific fun.
Well, they were just here. They were in Lancaster, Pennsylvania for shore leave.
Huh.
Yeah, and now I think it's even before they used to just do like comic conventions. I think now it's Land of the Lost convention.
Well, there's that, and they do other shows as well. But yeah.
Oh, really? I don't know how
they do. They do. I don't think they're going to be at RetroCon in Oaks, PA, the first week of September, respectively. Or actually, they might be. It's one of the two. It's either that or another show, but it's in Pennsylvania, so you're going to have to do some local listings, local checking, whatever it is. But the Land of the Lost cast they're making their rounds, man. And I saw them at Shore Leave, and they had the raft and everything. And I heard people behind me going, doing the whole scream when they're on the raft. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, they really take their fandom seriously, this cast. My goodness.
Well, and if you haven't seen it, it was the
old
school. They would have like the dinosaurs is what they were, and they would be fighting in a stop motion animation, like a Harryhausen style, the old style. And seeing that as a kid, like that that's gonna be 76 or 77. I saw it as a little kid, So like I'm pretty sure that's pre-Star Wars.
Wow, that's amazing, isn't it? That really is amazing. But yeah, so
I also want to point out that Chris has been, I think, trying to get a word in.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, Chris, I'm sorry. I Mr. Hand being raised. Yes, sir. Yeah, Chris, go ahead. What do you got?
No, I was going to say, for those that are into the board game things, there's a friend of mine. Their company is Everything Epic, and they made a Rambo trilogy miniatures board game. You can play solo or up to 4.
Wow,
so if you're into games.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds cool, man.
Can you drop the link for us in the comments of this episode so people can find out more about them?
Sure.
That'd be great. Yeah, and that goes for everybody too. If you have any links you want to share with us, or someone in the audience, if you want to share a link with us, drop it in the comments. Let us know about your work, your books, your what do you call it? Your board games, your projects, things you have working, maybe even Kickstarters, because Lord knows there's a Kickstarter going every 2.5 seconds. I know, right? There's so many Kickstarters on social media right now. It's insane. Let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. This is the Meaning of Fandom, though. So we're talking about characters or fandoms that mean something special to the roundtable panelists and myself and why. But we're more than happy to listen to you as well, folks, because this show is for you. This is why we do this, because we love interacting with you. We love hearing from you and all that jazz. And by the way, Brandon, thank you for liking this episode. I appreciate it. Don't forget to like and share this with your closest friends. If you're watching us live on the replay, hello there. And all that jazzy stuff. So do we have any final thoughts on the creepy crawly Dexter before we move on to the next fandom? Are we all good here on Dexter? Do we have all our points put together, I suppose?
I do.
Right. Just want to make sure. Yeah. Okay. Great. Wonderful. All right. No more darkness. Let's move on to something a little bit more lighthearted, maybe. No, probably not. But before we move on to the next fandom or character that someone is going to, in fact, discuss with us, how about we take a look at this?
He brought you The Green Mile, The Shawshank Redemption, and The Shining. Now, from the incredible mind of Stephen King, journey to a place where reality stops.
It's like the town in the Twilight Zone.
And imagination begins. 8 mind-bending stories. A 4-week television event.
I won't do another stretch. To get out this time, you stay up.
Don't make me do it! 4 hours ago, I killed my brother.
If you think your dreams are disturbing, imagine the nightmares of Stephen King.
What are you, some sort of a horror movie guy?
Nope, Clyde, I'm a literary guy.
Nightmares and Dreamscapes from the stories of Stephen King. This July, only on TNT.
Boy, I remember those times, right? We know drama. Yeah. TNT, guys, the home of Mortal Kombat Conquest, the home of WCW Monday Nitro, all those great shows, right? Well, some of them are better than others, that's for sure. But I'm just curious, though, Timothy, this is your first show back. You've been away for a while, but I am curious, what is it that fascinates you so much about the mind of Stephen King?
Well, to start with the properties, and this is not always the best measurement of somebody's career or how much impact their work has on society. But, to start with, Stephen King adaptations are now up to something like 88 movie adaptations, which, to give some perspective, it's like 3 times the size of the MCU, right? Which is already a big one. So you got to ask yourself the question, how does he do that? Like, if you would have said it was possible, you would not even believe that was possible. And this is, like I say, it started originally 1974. Carrie was the first one, right? That was the big breakout. But then he unleashed a string of hits, across the next 5 decades. And it just seemed like every one would top the next one that came out. And the only kind of thing that was similar around that time was, of course, Jaws. That was Peter Benchley, right? And he was like the shark writer. And Stephen King, of course, was the new horror writer. And that was, we had Carrie, it was Salem's Lot, The Stand, it was the short stories, Night Shift, Skeleton Crew. And then even more started to get made into movies. It was Firestarter and The Shining. And it was like he could do no wrong. I say it was like he could do no wrong, because looking back, some of the movies didn't age very well. Some are really good today, and some of the TV properties are really terrific. Which, like, for example, I was talking about the Salem's Lot miniseries from 1976 or 79, I think it was, very warmly received, right, and genuinely scary. And there was also there was a remake of that one recently with Rob Lowe in it. So I guess I would start by saying the reason the fandom always applied to me is because I always kind of wanted to write the way that he did. And ever since I was a little kid, I had been following it. And when I read an interview with him, it's actually on his Wikipedia page, he lists all his influences. And I realized by looking at it that we had read all the same material. And I mean, for example, Richard Matheson is on there, the guy who wrote I Am Legend. He's right at the top of my favorite authors list. So I think looking back, when I say looking back, like it's not still going, of course, Stephen King is still going. But even when you amass the 51 years worth of writing bestseller after bestseller after bestseller, you got to wonder, can that ever be done again? Especially when you consider it's been developed into all these properties. My guess is that it couldn't be done again. I'd like to hear what you guys have to say.
Wow, that's a lot of history right there. Here's the rub. I am familiar with Stephen King. I've seen a few of the movie adaptations. I've seen a few of the TV series. The trailer we just showed, Nightmares and Dreamscapes, when it aired on TNT in the mid-2000s there, Timothy. I've seen that. Plus, because some of my favorite actors are in it. Jeremy Sisto being one of them. Hello, Jeremy.
He's in Dexter too, right? Isn't Jeremy Sisto in Dexter?
Well, he was in Clueless.
Maybe it's 6 Feet Under. He's in because
he's been in a bunch of things over the.
He's
course
the brother-in-law or something.
He's been in so much, but yeah, Jeremy Sisto is in it. You had, I believe, Samantha Mathis makes an appearance in that trailer. The late great William Hurt is in that trailer for Nightmares and Dreamscapes, who unfortunately is no longer with us. R.I.P. to him. But yeah, I've seen The Shining. I've seen Carrie. I've seen Firestarter with Drew Barrymore when no one knew who she was. That's like an up and comer. Drew Barrymore.
That was one of her first movies.
That was one of her first gigs, brother. So that's going way back. And also Heather Locklear is in that. Hello, plays her mother. So I've seen some of the Stephen King properties. They're okay. I'm not jumping up and down celebrating them like a lot of people do. But someone said to me a couple weeks ago, we were sitting here in the studio. We were talking about one of the person's Kickstarter, and he mentioned that, hey, have you ever read Stephen King before? And I said, no, I haven't read any of his books. I've seen some of the movie adaptations. I've seen some of the TV series adaptations, all that kind of stuff. Like the Rob Lowe iteration of Salem's Lot that aired on TNT in the mid-2000s. I saw that, Timothy. I thought that was good. So he's like, look, you really need to read some of Stephen King. So I went ahead. I went on thriftbooks.com, #not-sponsor, and I got this. All right. So.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
This is the first.
I didn't even mention that. That's one of his biggest ones.
Yeah. So this is my first Stephen King book. This is my first experience with Stephen King, literally. There's a word for you, Hollis, literally. So when I get a chance, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to read this bad boy because I like Westerns. I like the character of the gunslinger. Plus, I like Westerns, and a little bit of supernatural doesn't hurt too. Just depends on how you go about it. That's all. So
the first one, I think the first one is the best one. That's
well, there you go. So we'll see how this shapes up. So there you go. I have every intention of learning more about the mind of
Do you know what? I forgot to mention Christine, the one about the car, the 50. I forget the model of the car right now.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good one too.
Yeah, there's so many different iterations of these stories being adapted. That is for sure. But that's been my experience with Stephen King. Hollis, you're a college professor. You've read a lot of books and things of that nature in your history of your career. Any experience with Stephen King? And if so, what are your thoughts on him?
Oh, okay. Me and Steven do not get along at all. So if I need to, before I do this, do some rules of engagement, Ryan, how much do you want me to pull my punches on this?
I mean, you could. Try not to pull all 50,000 of them, but just give us a few bullet points, as one might say in a classroom.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if you need to go deeper into that, go ahead.
I know. Yeah. Here's what I'll say. So first of all, note that I'm not a horror fan. So first of all, most of the books, aside from the Dark Tower stuff, I am not the primary audience for Stephen King. I do, though, and I know it's a fine line, but I have read more of the classical Gothic literature. I'm a huge fan of Bram Stoker's Dracula, for instance, and I have actually wrote a Gothic novella, too. When I was in grad school, I was assigned to a project with a guy named AJ Marcus, who's now Professor AJ Marcus. And we were compiling a database of Gothic villains, basically. And so I was forced against my will to research all this Gothic stuff. And in that project, I picked up Stephen King's nonfiction book on the horror genre, where he talks about some of the classical stuff like Dracula, Frankenstein, etc. And he was such a pompous jerk in that book. I could hardly stomach it. Here is this guy saying, oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Here's what a bunch of scholars through the hundreds of years of thinking and writing about this novel think. But they're all idiots. Stephen King, he's the one who really understands and is going to tell you what they're really about. And I have very little patience for that kind of arrogance. So from the beginning, that is an issue with me and Stephen. The other thing is, in terms of the rest of his fiction works, I find it to be a lot of people. I hear this idea of they want to write like Stephen King. I get that. from a prose stylistic standpoint, he is quite sophisticated. He is one of the most elegant authors of this time. Sadly, my assessment of him is he is style with very little substance. Not that the substance isn't there. There are themes in Stephen King's works that I think are worth saying. I just find that his style, and you can tell by the length of his books, good night.
Yeah, I don't love that part too much.
He loves the style. He's got a lot of bread and little butter, in my opinion. And the final issue I have with Stephen is, and again, I will try to keep this with the family-friendly nature of this show.
I buy what you're saying a little bit so far, especially about what he calls the literary elephantiasis. That part's true. Keep going, Hollis.
He's so pretentious. I'm sorry. He just really... Anyway, the other thing is, there is a certain scene in one of his most well-known novels.
Oh, I know where this is going to.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
And it's not the only thing like that he's ever done.
Yeah. I
think that there is reason to suspect, like Alan Moore, that he's got some real issues, real issues. And I've already lived through people in academia, like Michael Foucault, for instance, who's a big name intellectual. He's kind of like, people have referred to him as like the god of psychologists, who is another one. He doesn't write fiction, but he writes these very long intellectual dissertations, to use one of Ryan's favorite words. And he also, people worshipped him literally, and he has a brilliant style, and also has come out that he is also a predator, or was. He's passed away now. I'm concerned that these people, that there's this trend going on with these types of people, the very stylistic, the intellectually gifted, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. So there you go. I pulled very little punches.
No, hey, I'm glad you did. And, first off, let me say, I wish there was an element where something Hollis said that I actually could say, well, that's not true. But that's not what, it wouldn't be fair to say that, because most of the things that he mentioned were in fact true. And, in particular, I know he's talking about the scene from the, correct me if I'm wrong here, Hollis, you're talking about It, where there's a little bit of almost sort of like a pedophile scene where it's a group sex scene at the end in the tunnel. Is that what you were referring to?
That is exactly what I was referring to.
Yeah, he's right. It is creepy. And it's hard to argue with something like that. And it obviously be pretty true to surmise that horror writers in general might have a little bit of some issues. I don't, particularly, know the back history of Stephen King in that way. But, I guess I would say it like this. We'll take a second, and as we're all writers in this room, so we'll take a second and talk about the elements of horror, right? I would start off by saying, in most cases, people say things to me like, hey, I wrote this novel, or I wrote this horror book, and this and that. And I check out a lot of different people's works. And one of the things that I noticed is that some of them are not too scary. And this is what I mean by that. There's an element in modern cinema where the jump scare has sort of replaced the tension building, the building it from the ground up, and the long scene with it's becoming more and more ominous, which I think is scarier. And of course, that's why there's chocolate and vanilla. But I would say that one thing that Stephen King does, I was mentioning to Dash Hooper there in the comments, they say that he's the realist horror writer. I don't mean in the sense that he's the most real, but he's one, he tends to depict an average family from Maine. They always tend to be from Maine. That's where he's from. And they are sort of like every men and every women. And then he sort of puts them in these impossible situations and really tortures them. And I think it's the part that's the part I think that people relate to. And that's why he's been so successful. One of the many reasons is that his characters seem real. And when you read through the book, like Cujo, for example, like that person's really trapped in the car and there's this big dog outside. It's not much butter, as Hollis said. So he sort of pads it out with more, a lot of character development. And if you notice, there's also some kind of trauma going on in the background. Someone's getting divorced, or, someone's cheating on their wife, this kind of thing. So it's a good use of the backstory. And I would guess that's why it connects, because Well, let me make a point, and then I'll turn it around to a question to the group. When we talk about the elements of horror, what do you think they are? Tell us a little bit about that.
Insert question. Insert thinking music here. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. No, boy. I gotta think on this one, Chris. You have any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, it depends on the genre you're doing. If you're talking about, because I've had to write all different kinds of stories. I've had,
Yeah, you do horror, right, Chris?
Yeah. I've killed kids in my book. I've just written a scene from the victim's perspective of being put on a roasting spit. So, I mean, there are definitely things that you have to write that are going to be, if the FBI saw your search history, you'd be on a list.
Yep.
My thing with King was he's too verbose. He takes too long to get to the point. That's the only reason but the different style, like you're going to approach a cosmic horror where you're trying to be more psychological differently than if you would a simple, I say simple, but a slasher or a serial killer kind of a story. For instance, if you wanted to portray the same scene a bunch of different ways, like I have one where there's a girl just sitting on a chair at home, and the guy comes in and he just says, "Honey, I'm home." And when you zoom back, she's tied up. He's had her kidnapped. Now, how do you want to play that? From her perspective as being all afraid, or do you want to play it as it's a desperate escape, or do you want to play it as he's coming home and he thinks it's a typical 50s style nuclear family thing? It's how do you want to throw it out there?
Yeah.
I don't like, as I said before, I don't like the torture porn kind of style, but at the same time, I can see where it's necessary in some cases.
Well,
I see.
It all depends.
Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't there a Stephen King adaptation that aired on Netflix not too long ago called Gerald's Game? Isn't that Stephen King? Gerald's Game? Isn't that true?
Yeah.
That's. I want to ask something, but I'll wait.
Okay, all right. I mean, I just thought I'd bring that up because it's one of the things that popped up on my feed. But go ahead, Timothy.
Yeah, I felt like we got a good answer from Hollis, and I liked his answer, and Chris was good. Let's turn this around another way, right? Because we're all doing self-publishing too, right?
Yes, sir.
Hollis, do you self-publish?
That is correct.
Okay, gotcha. So let me try this question then. I'm thinking how I want to ask it. Okay, so you're the publisher. It's 1974, and you're seeing, let's say, Carrie for the first time. That's what it is. Would you have seen, like, I think we all agree that he does have a special kind of writing style. Would you have said, hey, this is the guy that's going to go on to have 51 years worth of bestsellers and 88 movie properties? Would you have seen that seed in the first submission in 1974? As a publisher, not that you're the writer, that you're taking him on.
Okay.
Right.
Would you have seen the special seed? Hollis, you
I don't want to talk first because I feel like I've been a jerk about hogging the time. And
no, it's okay. We'll hear both.
What do you mean by special seed?
Special seed, like the seed of something special.
I misheard. I misheard what you said.
Yeah, that's what you're getting at.
Well, that's because I'd have to put my brain back in the time of the 1970s. What was going on back then, and then does it like The Exorcist? That fits better there than it ever would today, just for the style of movie that it was. So yeah, probably back then that kind of small town religious thing would have hit harder than it would. Yeah, than I think it would today. So I think it's more likely that it gets put out there. Not only that, but there's fewer known or fewer able to be published people back then, whereas it can be a flood today. So yeah, I'd have to say I probably would.
Okay, thanks for your answer. Hollis, what do you think? If you were the publisher looking at it for the first time, would you say, hey, this is really special, it's going to go on to greatness? Or would you say, yeah, this one's pretty good?
So I will say that as somebody who teaches at a college and somebody who does assign creative writing exercises, I believe, now I haven't been at this long enough to be able to see them grow up and have their full careers, but I do think that I can usually tell when this person has some kind of exceptional talent. And I've been really privileged to have a couple different students that I've worked with who I could tell there's really something special about this kid. they are gonna, if they want to, go places. And so I should mention, just so everyone knows, I do not judge that based on whether I like the genre they're writing in. So I can tell that even if I personally dislike the genre that they're writing, I can still recognize that they have a lot of talent and they have some kind of gift when it comes to writing. So I think I probably, if I was back there at that point, I probably would have been able to recognize King as being somebody who was especially gifted from the start. I would have tried to then help him avert the path that he went down if I possibly could have. So that's what I would have said. But I do think that it would have been obvious how special he was from the beginning in terms of, once again, the style is not what I'm knocking, aside from he's just in love with his style too much. But he obviously is a very eloquent writer, one of the most gifted of his generation for sure.
Yeah.
Thanks for your answer.
Yeah, I gotta say, Hollis, you've been on so many of these shows now. If people had to describe Hollis in one word, it's surprising because you never know what you're going to get. Every single time he's on set, I don't know if I'm going to get the positivity Hollis or I'm going to get the haterade Hollis. And he's going to say, "Well, this is why I don't like."
I love the interesting answers. I
honestly, no, I'm not.
I wouldn't have picked Val Kilmer. I'm also surprised that generally I would have thought I would have thought a Batman fan would have aligned a little closer with Stephen King.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that.
I think the reason, though, is, again, as much as I hate to say this, I think it's the deep ethical thing of Batman that drives me towards that, because I think
the reasons you gave were
issues.
I feel the reasons you gave were very effective and very solid.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just take a quick second and answer my own question. I like to think I'm pretty adept at recognizing quality writing, and I don't think I would have recognized it from Carey. I think I might have been the guy that said, this is pretty good, and he'll probably have 3 or 4 good books, or 5, 10. The 10 I would have thought was hitting it out of the park. But to think, it's like when we talk about some of these bands that were still around. It's always amazing to me when you can see someone that has had a prolific career for 50 years. For example, earlier today, we were talking about Iron Maiden, not to switch the conversation to music, but that first album, so roughly produced, and it might have cost them $18 to make the whole thing. And, it's 51 years later, it's the biggest tour on the planet. I would have said, hey, this album's pretty good, but, they might have 2 or 3 albums. I feel that way about Stephen King. Now, for me, the turning point was The Stand. I think that is really the one that has the kind of the best mix between the theming and the too overblown of of the writing. But I think as far as Carey, because if you think about it, Carey's really pretty simple story. It's even for a 1970s stories, there's not too much that would set it apart from, for example, the other big 70s properties of the time, like the Amityville Horror, if you remember that one.
That was another one, yeah.
Yeah, and Chris mentioned The Exorcist. I would have thought, let me say this a different way. If I had both on my desk and I read The Exorcist and then I read Carey, I would have picked The Exorcist. Author has been the guy that would have the long career and the brighter path forward, only because of the sense of that one was so much more shocking. And I did think William Peter Blatty, right, wrote The Exorcist. Do I have that right? Correct me in the comments if I got
either that or William Friedkin, wasn't it?
Oh, is it? Well, somebody can Google it.
Might have been one of the two.
It's a scary book, and again, we talk about what are some of the elements of horror, right? Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, Chris has been itching and scratching and clawing to get in on this one.
I have 2 main questions. One, is a quick one. Mr. Hollis, what about Absolute Batman? And then 2, did you find that you enjoyed King's work more as the fully produced movie, TV show style, or as the book, or did one lead you to the other?
Oh, that's a good question.
Wow.
So I will say that Absolute Batman, the jury is still out because it's not done yet. Like, Absolute Batman is still too new for me to really get into. But I will say my initial impressions of Absolute Batman still don't give me any real reason to think it's going to be that different from the Batman. Okay, it's that what happens if you take the money away, right? If you get rid of the money element, the premise, for those of you who don't know, of Absolute Batman is that it's a take on the Batman story where Bruce Wayne is not rich. He comes from middle-class families struggling to pay their bills like most other people in America. And so what would it be like if that was what happened? And also, he didn't lose both his parents. Only his dad died. And what you see, I think, is, again, the question of what is the core of the character. And I think in Absolute Batman, you're still seeing that the core of the character is still somebody who cares about justice, somebody who cares about protecting innocent people from maniacs, and somebody who is going to put himself in the line of danger, even if he doesn't have a golden parachute to fall back on. So, but again, Absolute Batman is also so new that I can't speak to it very much. As for the other question, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but the only familiarity I have with Stephen King is what's printed on a page. I have not actually watched any film adaptations of Stephen King, so I can't speak to the film adaptations at all or the comparison.
Here's Johnny. No, it's all right. Listen.
You've missed quite a few films, brother.
I was gonna say you missed a lot, but what I will say, but here's the thing. Everyone tells me how great The Shining is, and I watched it, and I'm thinking to myself, this movie is not that good. I don't know what the hype is. It's fine, like it's okay, but it's not a film I'm gonna rush out and see over and over again. And second of all, and this is something Hollis and I are kind of on the same page with. I'm not a big fan of the horror genre either. I really don't care. Like I like certain elements of the horror genre. I think there are things you can incorporate into your story, right? There are exceptions to every rule, Timothy. But
yeah.
But the horror genre for Hollis and I, it's just I'm not rushing to the theater to see these things, because why would I want to be scared out of my mind and have nightmares and not be able to sleep, by the way, Hollis, for 2 weeks, where I can just turn on my streaming service and put on Batman 89. Is it a dark movie? Yeah, but it's funny. Joker was funny. I mean, Nicholson is hilarious in the movie, so I can watch that. Him, killing people off. I mean, he literally fries a guy to death in the original movie. Do you see what I'm saying? He has a buzzer on his hand, kills a guy, and he says, Antoine got a little hot under the collar. You're crazy. Have you ever heard of the healing power of laughter, Hollis? I mean, come on. It's
well, I do want to say
it's two different things, man. It's two different things.
I want to make it clear that
I get it.
I'm not trying to moralize, right?
No,
like I'm not trying to say that people who are into horror are bad people or something.
Some of the most creative people I've ever
Some
met
of
in my
my
life
best
are
friends
into the horror genre. Chris being one of them.
Some of my best friends are really, really into horror. And, I say that everybody gets one genre that they can just hate across the board. Well, so for me, like, this is why when people tell me that they hate musicals, I can deal with it. Like, it doesn't bother me. I'm like, everybody gets a genre that they can just dislike across the board. And that's okay.
How about let's change direction, because I bet you could get Stephen King to easily make some top 10 lists if you did it not based on horror.
Sure. The Shawshank Redemption.
That's a great movie, by the way.
The Dark Tower series.
Yeah.
I think the Shawshank Redemption is a great movie, Hollis. If you've never seen Shawshank Redemption, I encourage you to see that. That's a darn good film.
The Green Mile.
I've heard good things about it.
And I think that's the thing, right? Like, I personally, and again, I think this is purely personal taste in this area.
How about this? There's some stinkers. I'd like to point out a couple that I thought.
The Dark Tower came out a few years ago, and that was a piece of.
I didn't like when the Dark Tower starts and it's the gunslinger.
Yeah,
then
I love that
following
character.
the series, and he's like medieval Arthurian. What was going on with that? And then there was I think it's 1963 or the one where he's trying to stop Kennedy from being assassinated.
Oh wow, I didn't know that part.
And that one was it goes back to what Hollis was saying. It was 25 chapters before anything happened, and then it was like a time loop, so he would repeat it, and it just got so repetitive and so self-referencing that you couldn't even make your way through it. So it's not all solid gold, unfortunately.
It isn't. He doesn't bat 1,000. That's for sure. Isn't that right, Hollis? Is that what you were going to say?
Well, and part of the problem. Okay, somebody else said this again. One of my old English professors said this.
Sure, go ahead.
But the problem with Stephen King at this point, especially, one of the big problems is that once again he is so arrogant And he's also at such a position, like Timothy was saying, he's got 88 film adaptations.
Which is crazy.
That there's no editor that can tell him, don't do
That's
this.
exactly right. That's exactly right again. Yeah.
And that's a huge problem. I mean, again, not to like rip open another wound.
Oh boy.
But there's a reason the prequel trilogy of Star Wars was not as good as the original.
I was wondering if you were going to point, because when you say that someone has yes man around him and complete control over his property and no one can tell him no, case in point, look at the prequel trilogy. Perfect example. Do those 3 films work? Absolutely not. Are they horrible in so many senses of the word? In my opinion, this is subjective. Yes, but a lot of my friends have come to me over the years, Timothy, Chris, Hollis, and you've heard this too. They're prequelists. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute.
Look, fair disclosure, I'm becoming a prequelist.
See,
I will say when it came out, 2 things I will concede, which first off, you got Jar Jar Binks, right? What are you doing? That was a misfire. And the second thing is it felt clunky when it came out. It felt clunky. Yeah. But now looking back, after we got this new crop of films, which were even clunkier.
Which haven't done well.
Like the prequels start, I guess it's rose-colored glasses. Maybe I'm a little biased. You look back and now those don't look quite so bad.
I mean,
George Lucas, I
go
keep saying, being George Lucas must be absolutely insane.
It must be
because he was literally, when he sold Disney to Star Wars,
or
the fandom brawl was
to,
like, don't let the door hit you on the way out. Like the amount of hatred there was for George Lucas at that time was out of the ballpark. And now people are like, "Oh, George,
we want you back."
Back when
we want you back because Disney and what's her name, Kathleen Kennedy, have made so many mishaps and missteps. Right? Isn't that the case? Missteps, and they're thinking to themselves, "You guys have ruined Star Wars just like George did." Only George at least had a through line. He had a plan for those 3 movies, whereas in this case, there was no through line in Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker. And I will die on this hill, and not a lot of people are willing to say this. But I'm willing to die on the hill. I love Force Awakens. I saw it 6 times in the theater when it opened 10 years ago. It turns 10 this year, by the way, Timothy. My brothers sat next to me on my second or third screening of that movie. And as soon as a long time ago shows up on your screen, they were clenching my arm and saying, "Oh my God, we're getting Star Wars after X amount of years. Star Wars is back." And Force Awakens, to me, say what you will, I love Force Awakens. I'll die on the hill. Rogue One, fabulous movie. To me, Rogue One is a better prequel than the other 3 films. Better prequel.
Don't
than
get me
the other
started. It's the best one, man. It's the best one.
Nothing can take that away from me. So it's like I can watch those 2 Disney era, right? Disney era films, but of the films, I could like, what else happened? Nothing happened. Force Awakens, Rogue One, great. Other ones, not so much. TV series, they've had even more creative challenges with their TV series adaptation. They've been mixed bags to horrible. It's ask anybody, they'll tell you straight up, man. Lucasfilm is in hot water and they need to dig themselves out of it. It's going to take time. Nothing happens overnight, ladies and gentlemen. But I know they can do it. But here's the thing I keep telling people, and this is something that people on social media have said too: take stuff from the books. There are some of the best Star Wars storylines are in a book, folks. They're in a book. Adapt it from a book, put it in an animated series, put it as live action, whatever you got to do. Disney has this, right? They got money. Spend the money, get the resources out there, bring them into the fold, and let them tell that story. Because that's what we want. We either want adaptations of these classic Star Wars, what do you call it, like legacy, non-legacy stories, or just come up with a new storyline and characters entirely, but have it set in the Star Wars galaxy. But I don't care.
I'll give you my 2 cents on Disney.
Yeah,
I'd love to hear the other.
Sorry. I'm going on a tangent. I'm taking this way off the rails.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, Hollis.
Regarding the Star Wars thing.
Yeah. No, it's fine. Go ahead. Timothy,
I should have known what I was doing. I should have known.
I am wearing a shirt that has like literally every fandom in the planet on this shirt. So, Timothy, do you have 2 cents you want to add about Lucasfilm?
Hear me out. Originally, Star Wars stood out. It was the 20th Century Fox product because it didn't look like anything else out there. My opinion, that's one of the reasons, among many, why it succeeded. Because we can look back on it and admit now, I think, well, the script wasn't necessarily the greatest script, and even the effects are not as perfect as we maybe remember them. But the fact is, Star Wars looked different than everything else at the time. Now you put on a Star Wars movie, or almost most of the Disney movies and many of their properties look kind of the same. There isn't really anything that makes that movie stand out. Matter of fact, it looks like a assembly line processed feature, you know. And by the way, I hope it doesn't make it sound like I'm a hater. I love Star Wars. You guys know that.
Yeah, we
right?
all do.
I'm a sci-fi guy.
Yeah.
I definitely watch all the movies, and I definitely go to them all. And I like I say, I got a little bias. If it's Star Wars, I'm already probably 60% gonna like it. At least I admit I have the bias, you know. But that said, there's noticeable dips in some of the quality, and the movies do not look different than anything out there. If anything, the reverse is true. They look exactly like all the other movies that are out there, and there's sort of a cookie cutter mentality to them. That is the part that I think needs to be addressed. I say that like I'm so smart. What the answer is, I don't know. Like before, you could have said, hey, we need something like the Clone Wars, you know, the animated series. And that was the right answer because it was new and it looked different, you know. Okay, well, you use that one now, guys. You need something else. What do you guys think?
Well, I mean, obviously, you know my 2 cents. Hollis, you want to dive in on this one?
Oh, great. You threw me in first.
If you want to take a moment to think about it, I can let Chris. I can let Chris over here take over the show.
And this is very public knowledge. All of my students are aware of this if you ever have a class with me. I despise Disney. It is the corporation that I hate the most. And I really believe that Disney is the problem. I think that all of that cookie cutterness that you're talking about, that is a result of how Disney makes movies at this point. They throw a bunch of money at it, but they don't care about the artistic quality of what they're creating. And the reason it all looks like cookie cutter is because that's the simplest way they can try to make movies, is just assemble the elements that they believe people are going to like or that people have liked in the past. And then they think that that's going to make a product that will be something that will get them money. And it's not that I hate profit as a motivator for art. Shakespeare wrote all of his plays because he wanted to make money. I mean, that's just an undeniable fact. But if you want to make money, what I wish these people would get through their heads is you have to make a quality product in order to get people to really like it. And like you said, say what you will about George Lucas, and believe me, I have things to say about him. But one of the things that you can never say about him is that his visual style is not interesting, because all of his movies, including the prequel trilogy, are visually fascinating to watch and very differentiated from each other. Every single one of the original trilogy and every single one of the prequel trilogy are very different from each other from a visual and an editing standpoint. And I think that, like you said, the problem is, aside from a couple of the Disney movies, they all are very cookie cutter corporate creations. And part of that is they don't really trust any individual creatives to just do their thing anymore, which, to be fair, the last individual creative they really let do his thing, I think, drove it into the ground, which was Rian Johnson. So that's that mix has, I think, created what we have now. And the only way I could ever see us getting out of that is either Disney has a complete shift of their leadership, or somehow Disney, in some kind of miraculous act of God, Disney lets go of Star Wars and lets it go to somebody else who cares about it more.
Yeah, I don't see them dropping, because someone mentioned that on a different podcast a couple months ago. They said, well, what if they just let the property go and let someone else handle, or another studio, whatever? They're never going to do that, because why would you let something go that's going to make you money? You know, and in a profitability thing.
They will pry it from Disney's cold, dead hands.
Well,
the only way anyone else is going to get Star Wars is if Disney somehow goes bankrupt. And then they have to sell off all their major properties.
I mean, they are losing money, and that is for sure. But I don't see them going so far as to lose so much money that they have to, what do you call it, like sell off their properties, right?
Not
that's
yet.
what Marvel did.
Not
Marvel
yet.
did the same thing. They had to sell off their properties so they wouldn't go bankrupt at one point, which is true when you think about the Marvel what do you call it? Marvel as a comic book industry and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, well, one of the rumors that's been going around, or one of the things that may make this transition better, I don't know if it's true or not, is handing off whenever Kathleen Kennedy leaves, let either Filoni or Jon Favreau take over for Lucasfilm. Let them call the shots. And if that's the case, first of all, Jon Favreau, you're so money you don't even know it. You're like a big bear, man. I mean, if it weren't for Favreau, we wouldn't get that iconic quote that I tell people on a daily basis, Timothy. I tell people as a form of encouragement that they are so money. They're money. All right. So when I say that, that's a Favreau Vince Vaughnism. So if Favreau takes over for Kathleen Kennedy and the torch is passed on to him, let him do it, man. Favreau knows what he's doing. I mean, as far as I know, I think he knows what he's doing.
Book of Boba Fett, Ryan?
Well, no, but I'm not saying that he bats 1,000 either. But it's like no one's going to be whoever's going to take over for Kathleen Kennedy is never going to bat 1,000. They're just not.
Yeah,
but
good point.
If you want to keep up a bit of quality to a certain extent, Favreau can definitely do it. I don't see Filoni doing it, even though Filoni's been with Lucasfilm for 25 years. But Favreau can do it because he has experience both with and outside of Lucasfilm, so he brings a different perspective to the table. But if someone else comes in there completely unknown or whatever, like if they pull a left field on us and someone else comes in and takes over Star Wars, that would be interesting to see. But it remains, what's the expression? It remains to be seen. And apparently Timothy B. Fling's camera is turned off, and I don't know why. Did we say something wrong? I hope and pray not. But would that be...
No.
Hope not. But with that being said, Chris, what are your thoughts on Disney, Lucasfilm, Star Warsology? Where do you think it's going?
Sure. A couple of things. One, if you haven't seen the Family Guy Stephen King skit where he's telling them to write a story, you have to see it. Because Stephen King basically picks up a lamp and goes, "Ooh, a lamp monster." And the editor goes, "Have it to me by Monday." And just puts the thing down. So yeah, that's pretty much where I see him at now, is just do whatever you want. But as far as Disney or Lucasfilm and all of this, as was mentioned already, The Force Awakens, I think, is liked so much by some people, not me personally, because it is a rehash of, I think, episodes 4 and 5. So it hits all those right nostalgia beats that people are more inclined to like it. I don't think, just like they need to get rid of Indiana Jones, they've destroyed that. There are only 3 Indiana Jones movies. There's never going to be any others.
That's true.
Unless Chris Pratt decides to take it over. I would like to see him in there. But a lot of their problem, again, it used to be like Marvel was the house of ideas. Now it's the house of remakes, reprints, do it over. Or in the words of South Park, put a chick in it and make her lame. I didn't say the rest because I didn't want to get you.
Yeah, no.
You know what I'm saying.
Yeah. I think I know that property. Jeez. Yeah, Timothy, welcome back. I feel like the Force was trying to take you away from us. I don't know why, because it's not your time yet, but
No, I got somebody at the door.
Oh, all good. But you're back. Hello.
The thing they used to say about the female cast of Star Wars, it was kind of proposed like they made it sound like we didn't like female characters, or that's why we were complaining. But the reverse is true. First of all, everybody loves Princess Leia. Everybody liked Rey. I did. Everybody liked Jyn Erso. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? So in my case, like I say, I'm predisposed to like Star Wars, but you could make a pretty good point that some of the first one was a little too close to the original Star Wars. Well done. But he really didn't set up a trilogy very well. And I guess that there was kind of not enough handshaking between the next 2 stations, because the movies, they just felt very rushed and disjointed. That's one man's opinion. I still like Star Wars.
Yeah, no. I get it. And once again, for those of you just joining us, this is the Meaning of Fandom, not the dissertation of how Star Wars should be good or bad or ugly. Let us know your thoughts or feelings about any of these fandoms. I know, right? Let us know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and share this with your closest friends. If you're watching this live on the replay, hello there. Yes, Chris, what do you want to say?
No, I said, and that is another trilogy, fistful of dollars, few dollars more, and the good, the bad, and the
ugly. You understood that reference. There you go. That's great. So, because I like Westerns, and in case anyone didn't know, for those of you, because Timothy said something about us being published writers now. Yeah, I'm an officially published writer now, so that just happened.
Congratulations.
A couple weeks ago. Yeah. So that's out. It's available. I'll drop a link here in the comments. We're also going to be showing the graphic here a little bit later on in this telecast, because I want to let everybody know what's going on with it. We're rising through the ranks on Amazon, so well done, everybody who's reviewed the anthology, who's purchased a copy of the Western anthology that I'm featured in. It's a lot of fun, I got to be honest, but I haven't gotten my personal copy yet. It's coming, but when it happens, folks, I'm going to be doing an unboxing video. and I'm going to share it with all of you. So you're going to be able to see that. And I want to see Hollis, Chris, Timothy comment, share it with their buddies. You're going to enjoy it. I promise you.
I'm a Western guy.
You're a Western guy? Well, that's great, because my story is called Wolf of the West. I think you're really going to get something out of that. That's a heck of a story there. And by the way, thank you for everyone who's posted about it on social media, about whether it's my story or everyone else's story that's involved in this anthology, because it is a collective effort. It's not me. It's not just me. There are many, 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 many writers involved. I think it was 15. I want to say, no, 16 writers, 15 stories. That's what it is. 16 different writers are in this thing, guys. 16. That's a lot. That's a lot of writers. That's a lot of taste, too. People have chimed in the chat. I don't want to ignore them. Links have been dropped. Madness Entertainment Group is here. He says, hey, yo, what up, Pops? How you doing, man? Oh, everything's well in your neck of the woods. Dash Hopper said something earlier. I'm looking forward to the long walk. As Timothy, I agree. I strive to write as well as Stephen King. Wow. Lofty goals, man, but have at it.
Dash is a writer, too.
Well
Shut
done.
up, Dash
Well
Hooper.
done. Well done, Dash. And then let me see. He also goes on to say, do you think Stephen King has lost his touch for horror, especially with the last couple of his past books, such as Holly and Fairy Tale come to mind?
I do. I'm sorry. I'm going to be that guy. Classic early stuff is better than the modern stuff, even in the
my
case
friend
of
Lou Tambone said that. That's how he got me into Stephen King. He's like, if you're going to read Stephen King, go back to the originals. Don't read any of his new stuff.
And generally, I'm not, like I say, I approach things with bias, in the sense that I approach it with a bias toward the positive. So it almost kind of really has to go off the rails for me to not like it. You know what I'm saying? Like I like the way Stephen King writes, and I like the characters that he creates, but it kind of circle back around to what Hollis said. You sometimes get through 40, 50 pages with the characters and they haven't even done anything yet.
You know, things happen. People chiming in the chat. Let me see. Dash Hooper brought up the 11/22/63 series that came out. Not too
He was
long ago.
answering the question. That's the one I was talking about.
Yeah.
That's it's the trying to prevent the JFK
The
assassination, which the
James-
same plot has been done dozens of times in a much
Okay.
better way.
I was going to say, wasn't James Franco in the most recent adaptation of that 11/22/63?
I have not seen the
I believe
adaptation.
James
I've read
Franco-
the book though.
Is the book any good?
Well,
Not really.
yeah,
Not really.
The first thing is, I think that's the one where they were paying him by the pounds. You know what I
Oh,
mean? Like
geez.
how much the book
Okay.
weighs. It's like freaking.
Yeah, because I'll be honest with you,
That's
Timothy. When I looked up
stupid.
Stephen King's bibliography of his early books, when I saw how many pages each one is respectively, I thought to myself, why are these books so massive, Hollis? They're 600, 700, 1,000 pages.
I'm telling you. Okay. I'm
One
sorry.
book.
I'm going to
For
hold
one
it in.
book.
I'm going to hold it in.
It's okay.
I'm
It's
gonna
okay.
hold
We
back.
love you, brother.
It's
We love
because
you.
Stephen King is in love with himself and
Okay.
his own
All right.
style. He loves his own
Well,
style.
yeah, maybe he's not
Maybe.
wrong, but maybe a more diplomatic. It's because he doesn't have an editor. The editor would say
Okay.
easily trim 35%.
I was going to say, if he had
Yeah,
an
you don't need
editor,
4
giving
pages
him
to describe
advice.
the rug.
Yeah. Well, if he had an editor and people gave him limits, he would have said to himself, okay, I got to go back and rethink this, right, Hollis?
I mean, people give my boy Tolkien grief. And I'm like, good night, guys. compared to King, Tolkien is like
Tolkien had
soul of brevity.
I was going to say, Tolkien had a through line, man.
Compared to Stephen King.
Tolkien had a through line in those 3 books, including The Hobbit. And what was the other one? The Silmarillion, I think is the other one, right?
Yeah,
The Silmarillion, yeah.
That's my
Silmarillion,
favorite.
yeah. Someone actually, a friend of ours from Anti-Quote Studios, she just picked up a copy of The Hobbit, and she's reading it for the first time. I was like, hey.
For the first time?
First time,
wow.
yeah. They're reading The Hobbit.
That is so cool.
They're reading the
That is so
property. They're
cool.
reading The Hobbit. And I thought to myself, enjoy that journey to Middle-earth, because that's a story for you.
It is.
It is, but it's
Correct.
Tolkien, so you can't really go wrong, right? Or am I saying something out of line?
You know what I will say? That's what I did on the last show. I'm the Tolkien guy.
You're the Tolkien, yeah, because but the last time you were here, you were specifically talking about Lord of the Rings in the extended cuts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which, by the way, Timothy, I don't know if you heard the news or not, but I did buy all 3 movies on extended cut DVD edition.
Nice.
So I do have the
Did you
extended
get
cuts of Lord of
the ones that look like books?
Yeah, they're so cool.
They are so cool. They really are.
Well, these are the DVD editions of the extended cuts, so they do look like a book. They open up and they have like the booklet
Yes.
and the map and
Yes, so
they're
cool.
they're right over here, by the way. I just want to let you guys know they're right over here. You can't see them, but they're there. And I watched Fellowship of the Ring because me personally, Fellowship of the Ring is my favorite of the trilogy, Hollis. It's really good, man. Fellowship of the Ring added a lot
There are
more
reasons for
stuff.
that.
Well, there are more things the extra 30 minutes or so that or whatever it was that they added to the extended cut. I don't know if you've seen this, Timothy, but it's really it adds a lot of more depth to certain characters and certain arcs. I was like, why didn't they throw this in before? I would have seen this in theaters.
You know, we forget now, but at the time, Return of the King. I'll just drop a
11
trivia.
Oscars.
I'm supposed to be Stephen King, but some quick Tolkien trivia. In the theatrical release of Return of the King, Christopher Lee was pissed. Remember, he was cut out of it. His death scene wasn't in it. And apparently there was some words exchanged about it. And of course, he is in the extended edition. He has a nice send-off and everything. But
really,
it's tough to do when you got a movie that's, the last one was, what, like 3 hours and 30-some minutes, I think.
Yeah.
So, something's got to go. It's just the way it is.
Well, I mean, at least Christopher Lee got redemption with his story arc as what's his, darn it, why am I blanking? But the character in Star Wars, what was his name?
Count
Dooku in Revenge of the Sith, where he gets his arms chopped off.
Yeah.
And then what's his name? The senator's like, do it. Kill him, Anakin. Kill him now, Hollis. Kill him. Do it. And then he chops his head off. So look at you, Christopher Lee. You had a great death scene in Revenge of the Sith.
I think King and James Gunn suffer from the same kind of. They can come up with the story, but they need that guiding hand to tell them maybe don't do this, steer it more this way. If they had something like that, it would tighten stories up more.
Oh well, it's probably a fair point. By the way, not to go too deep into the James Gunn weeds here, because I haven't seen the movie yet, but I plan on seeing the new Superman film this weekend, so stay tuned. Because I'm a diehard Superman fan, brother. So I'm curious to see what this new version is going to do. Don't worry, Hollis. I'll give you a dissertation. You'll be fine. I'll let you know my thoughts.
I like Superman the way he likes Batman. Like, I haven't found one I didn't like.
That's fine. Yeah. A lot of people have said that this new iteration of it with David Cornsweet and Rachel Brosnahan leading the charge is pretty good. So I'm looking forward to seeing what all the fuss is about. So
I haven't seen this or Fantastic Four yet. I just got back from vacation. I was in Maine. But again, I bring my bias with me.
I bring my bias.
Yeah, like I can remember a time when we didn't have these kind of choices. So
true.
I'm just rose-colored glasses. Can't believe it.
Speaking of rose-colored glasses, my good friend Ted Woods, who's an indie artist, at Ted Woods on Instagram. Follow him. He's a great artist. Does a lot of black and white sketches. He's great. Follow him on Instagram, fellas. But Ted Woods said, "Hey, I just saw the new Fantastic Four movie. I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed it. But for me, this will always be my Fantastic Four." And he posted a picture of the 2005 Chris Evans, Ian Grufford, Jessica Alba, Michael Chiklis, the 2005 iteration of Fantastic Four. And I'm like, yeah, that's the version I grew up on. Because I saw that in the I think I saw that in the theater, 2005's Fantastic Four. If not, I saw it on TV later, or no, I saw it on video or DVD, whatever it was. But I by the way, I did a rewatch of the original two before this new one came out a couple months ago. I still like the 2005. It's a straightforward origin story. It's straightforward, it just goes right into it. And by the way, Julian McMahon, who unfortunately is no longer with us, he played a really good Victor Von. So,
I forgot about that guy.
He passed away. Yeah, he passed away. And by the way, there were rumors going around that he was going to show up in a future MCU movie as an alternate version of Doom.
Yep.
Yeah. Very sad.
My only beef, I would say. Somebody mentioned this, or I've seen posts about it on social media, and they have this point, which I get it now.
Yeah.
Pedro Pascal, it is now faster to make the list of movies that he's not in.
Yeah.
And it isn't a thing where I don't like him. It's not that he's good.
He's in everything.
Yeah, he's just being in too much, and I don't know.
Way too much.
Yeah, like I just saw Gladiator.
Overexposure, maybe?
Did you
Is
see
that
Gladiator? It? Yeah, it's a little overexposure.
Was he in the Gladiator?
Yeah, he was the honorable. He wasn't the gladiator, but he was like the other guy.
He was the antagonist, wasn't he?
No, he wasn't the bad guy. He was sort of like in between, and he talked.
Oh, kind of an
Look, I got to tell you, I didn't finish it, and that's a warning sign. Like, I'm one of the biggest Gladiator fans you will encounter, but I was like, what's going on here, man?
Why did they make this? Doesn't make any sense.
It's like Titanic too.
Yeah, wasn't Titanic 2 supposed to come out last year?
I don't know.
Were we supposed to do weren't you, me, and everyone else in our friends group supposed to go to the theater at one point and see Titanic 2, Rise of the Jack, or Jack Returns from the Dead, something, or Hollis, something like that? I don't know. We were supposed to go to see the movie, right, Hollis? Wasn't that on your calendar?
You mean the sequel to one of the worst movies ever made?
Whoa, you think Titanic is that bad?
I hate Titanic.
You hate
Titanic
that? Oh, man. Chris has a rebuttal.
Titanic.
Chris has a rebuttal for that.
I have a worse movie that always gets me the gurs.
What is it?
The Princess Bride.
Really?
Fiery passion. Can't stand it.
Yeah, I can't stand that movie.
Well, here's the thing. I don't hate the movie, but I don't understand why people love it so much, because I watched it and I'm like, okay, this movie's fine, but what's the hype for? I don't understand it. But some people brought up the point, and this is something that you may have heard on social media too. It really depends on if you were there. when it was originally made, and you were that kid who was watching it constantly on VHS as a kid. So I wasn't there. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. So I saw it for the first time. What was it, Timothy? I think I saw it for like the first time 4 or 5 years ago, whatever it was. And I'm like, I don't care. I saw it, but I don't really care.
It does have Peter Falk, who I like.
He's good. I'm not knocking him for it. What were you going to say, Chris?
It's a good thing you bring something like that up because it brings us back to the Batman '89 when that was first coming out. We didn't have internet or anything like this. Of course,
we didn't have to worry about the social media landscape,
right? But we still sat around reading Wizard magazine and talking around the table about this stuff. And when we heard Michael Keaton, Mr. Mom, is going to be freaking Batman,
right. People were pissed.
It was a write-in campaign.
Oh yeah. Do you know how many letters he got though? Do you know how many? It was like over 20,000 letters, Timothy, that Michael Keaton got.
But it turned out to be pretty. It really subverted said expectation. Now, I got to say, my first superhero thing. I learned to read with comic books.
Which is
my first exposure to superheroes was on what's called the Electric Company when they had Spider-Man, and he would have ropes and
the Electric Company.
Yeah.
And today is Spider-Man Day.
Exactly.
Oh, today is Spider-Man Day?
That ties in. Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man Day is today?
By the way, that would have been a great fandom to just touch on.
Well, I mean, before
Spider-Man
I dive into mine, we
great.
can listen. This is a freewheeling type of show, even though I do freewheeling Fridays at 11 Eastern on the Madness Entertainment Group YouTube channel. Which, by the way, that is coming up here a little bit later tonight. And who's the? I'm trying to. He just texted me. Who was it? It was David Howard's going to be on with us tonight.
Oh, okay.
So he's going to be chiming in with some stuff about comics, I'm sure. But yeah, let's go around the horn as a rapid fire real quick. So Spider-Man, first exposure to him was reruns of some of the different iterations of him. But my favorite TV version of Spider-Man was the 1994 Fox Kids animated series of Spider-Man. And then my favorite live action version of Spider-Man. I'm an OG. Tobey Maguire. He's my boy. Toby's my man. Toby for president. Hollis, thoughts on Spider-Man Day? What's your favorite iteration of... Oh, by the way, real quick, because I don't want to forget this. Spider-Man version in the comics... Spider-Man Kraven's Last Hunt. That's my favorite. Go ahead, Hollis.
Interesting choice. Oh, so Spider-Man is pretty much neck and neck with Batman for me as one of my favorite superheroes of all time. It's definitely for DC, it's Batman. For Marvel, it's Spider-Man. And I've really liked to put the difference like this. Batman is the type of person that I aspire to be like. The best, specifically the Kevin Conroy version of Batman. I aspire to have that kind of compassion for people. I've realized thinking about it that a lot of my morality has come from Batman. Like the way that he approaches the no-kill rule for the versions that have that. In my adult life, when I thought about things philosophically, that's what I ultimately landed on in ethics and lots of things like that. Peter Parker, on the other hand, he's like the guy I actually am. And that's what makes Spider-Man so special, is how flawed he is and how unsuper he is in so many ways, and how he's driven by a guilt complex, which I can also very much relate to, and how he tries so hard to do the right thing, but it's a struggle for him. That's what I think makes Spider-Man such a cool character, is that he's the guy who doesn't have it together. That's why it's so awesome to see, like in the comics, where when he's fighting a villain, he's verbally got the persona of this smart aleck who is constantly mocking the villain, but then you see his internal thoughts and he's freaking out and he doesn't know what the flip he's doing. And that is, I think, really endearing and really, really fun to watch. And so I'll say my favorite adaptation of Spider-Man overall is the Spectacular Spider-Man show. I think that is the best adaptation of Spider-Man. It's the truest to the comics of who Peter Parker is, I think. In terms of the live action movies, that's so hard. Because I don't actually think there's been a live action Spider-Man that, to me, has fully captured what we get from the comics, at least the Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, and subsequent versions of Peter. But I think the one that I like the most is Toby. I'm going to have to default to that. Like, Toby is still the one that I will like the most. Spider-Man 2.
The one where it was a mech, where he had a mech and it was all...
Yeah!
Come on.
That's such a crazy
alien.
show. Like,
yeah, you have to watch it if you've never seen it.
you do. If you haven't seen it, you've got to watch at least the pilot. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It is a hoot and holler.
From a race of spider people, and it's
No, I hear you though. That's interesting though. Chris, did you have a thought on the web slinging menace of New York City known as Spider-Man?
Sure. Jay Jonah was always right, and
Jay Jonah was always right, Hollis.
oh my God, I'm blanking on his name. The actor that played him. And
Andrew Garfield or Tom Holland?
No, JJ.
Oh, you mean J.K. Simmons?
Yeah, J.K. Simmons. I think he was the absolute best that's ever.
He was
done
perfectly cast, man.
Yeah, man, he's the goat.
But Andrew Garfield was my favorite out of the series. Yep.
Man, good answers tonight.
I was going to say, you don't hear that one every day.
I think that's a good answer. I respect that answer. I liked Andrew Garfield.
He is a bit
actually.
underrated. I think he's a bit underrated, just a little bit, because I actually liked his first one. The second movie, they tanked him. But they really tanked it. But I will say, though, Hollis,
not his fault. Not his fault.
No,
right?
but they tanked the franchise. It wasn't Andrew's fault. It was the writers and all the creative differences that were happening behind closed doors. By the way, Hollis, my favorite thing about Amazing Spider-Man 2, considering it's a junk film, but the best part was the iconic panel, the tribute to Gwen, the death of Gwen Stacy. I thought that was, dude, which she's honest to God,
which is also the best thing about Spider-Man 3, or is it 4?
Is it 3?
Or you thinking Spider-Man 3, the recent one where he rescues her and succeeds.
Oh, Far From Home. Or,
and he's like, "Are you okay?" It's like a really emotional scene.
No Way Home, Spider-Man No Way Home. That's what it was.
Yeah.
So, when because I love Emma Stone, but when she's dropping Hollis, and you think he's going to get her because he's got the webs out, man. The webs are coming out. He's got her, but as soon as he grabs her, and you hear this loud thud, Hollis. You hear it. You can hear it. Neck snaps. Everything stops. The screen everybody stops. We all stopped in our tracks. As soon as that moment happened, everyone in the theater, you could hear a pin drop, brother. You could hear a pin drop. And as soon as he cradles her in his arms and he says to himself, like, wake up. I got you. It's okay. Everything's going to be okay. She doesn't wake up. And I'm like,
that was
like, is she really dead? Like, are they really doing this? And when it actually came to be true, I'm thinking to myself, dude, they just pulled a comic book panel here. That's insane.
They did. Yeah. That was besides the suit, that's the only good thing about that movie. Sadly.
And Tom Holland could have been good if he would have been allowed to be Spider-Man, but he was just
not the son of Tony Stark. Exactly.
Yeah. Now I think he was horribly miscast in Uncharted, but that's a whole different.
Both of them were. Both of them were. Sully too.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
For some reason, it's Hollywood types don't like it when we notice that the characters don't match something. And I'm not going to get too specific with this.
The property.
Yeah, but like Uncharted is a good example. Like Tom Holland doesn't look like Drake.
He's like 12 years old.
Yeah. And the other guy, the older mentor guy, didn't look like him either. I was like, I remember saying at the time, I said, man, they got to dial
and Mark
it in
Wahlberg's in it, isn't he? Isn't Mark Wahlberg in there?
which the part is, I don't know if you play Uncharted, but it's a
I'm familiar with it. Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
There's 6 or 7 games in the franchise. And he's like an older, gray-haired mentor type. And it's like, what are you doing?
He's like 20 years older than Tom, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? This doesn't make any sense. By the way, a lot of people have been saying for years that originally when Uncharted was going to be adapted into a film, they thought Nathan Fillion was going to be a shoo-in.
He would have been perfect. He would have been perfect. He would have been perfect.
They did a fan
film, like a test screening.
Yeah, which was good. I liked it.
I thought Nathan Fillion could have been Nathan Drake, right?
He should have. Yeah.
He even looks like him.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
But who would have been Sully?
Yeah, who would have been Sully, Timothy? Do you have a casting?
Do you know somebody, something like an older, like a graying older Tom Selleck type, because he's got the bushy mustache. He's also kind of beefy, like a retired cop, maybe sort of.
Well, Tom Selleck has that look because he played a police commissioner for 15 years on Blue Bloods.
Yes, great show, by the way. I agree with Timothy 100%. That one of the big problems with Hollywood right now is they don't cast based on what actually makes sense in the story. They cast based on marketing, right? So that's why Tom Holland got put in that movie, was because he was hot at that point because of the Spider-Man stuff.
Yeah, totally agree.
I mean, talk about a lost, what do you call it? What was that movie that came out 30 years ago that no one remembers? Oh yeah, The Lost World, Jurassic Park. No one remembers that. But like Lost World comes out, I'm like, dude, Tom and Mark are so lost in this movie. This doesn't make any sense at all. Just from the trailer for Uncharted, I was like, This isn't the game, man. What the,
right.
the heck is this?
Hey, I didn't give my Spider-Man answer.
Oh yeah, go. Yeah, I'm sorry. Back on the Spider-Man. Thank you, Hollis.
Best,
but yeah, Timothy, what's
that's okay.
Yeah,
The
what
best
about what about your Spider-Man
adaptation.
thing?
I'm going to take the. I'm going to take Silver Age Spider-Man because I'm going to go old school here. Especially some of the goofier Stan Lee stuff with the early villains. Scorpion and the Vulture and Doc Ock and all that. And they even released them back then in those days in sort of like a little paperback book. And they were very small panels and you had to squint to read it. But it was like the collected Spider-Man issues. And for the movies, I'd say recently, I think Tom Holland's done a bang up job. And I think he does he has a little bit of the physicality of it, the grace, and there's something in him that's kind of like charming, I guess I'd say, where he wins over audiences. And the example of it was when I saw Civil War in the theater, people cheered when he came out on the screen.
Oh, yeah.
And that's something that you see kind of rarely these days, but I always like it. But remember, he comes out, or Tony Stark goes Underoos, and he jumps out. He's like, "Oh, hi, everybody!" The whole place went bananas.
We went nuts.
Yeah, people are standing and cheering, and that only has happened a couple times to me in the movies. In Endgame, they did it where everybody came through the portals.
Doctor Strange, yeah.
Yeah, and there was also they did it in the lighting of the beacons during the Lord of the Rings movie.
Right.
There was something happened in the Phantom Menace. I forget what the screen was. Oh, it was the Count Dooku and Yoda lightsaber battle. I remember.
Yeah, well, that was an Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones. I got a little
not
wrong.
Phantom Menace, but yeah.
Yeah, it was. But people cheered during that segment, and that kind of says
true.
And by the way, I'm certainly not implying that the audience always has it right, but it takes a certain something to ring that audience like a bell. And when you have a guy like Tom Holland, it seems like he's found it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like I said, he's definitely a good Peter Parker, and he has the mannerisms and he has the moves of Spider-Man down. I just don't think the script has let him actually be. I want the next set of films to be, local friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Oh, you mean he's too cosmic, kind of? Or
yes,
I think he has done battle with Doctor Strange and the multiverse, and saving different iterations of Aunt May who are not Aunt May, and Uncle Ben's not dying when he should be dying.
Did you like the first one? Was him against the Vulture? Did you like that one?
Well, you mean Batman? Him versus Batman? Because Michael Keaton is Batman in that movie.
He was. I thought he was a great Vulture.
Or Birdman, as some people like to say in the social media comment threads. Hollis. Real quick before I turn things over to Hollis, I thought Homecoming was all right, and then what's the second one? Far From Home, I think is the second one.
That's the one with Mysterio, right?
I didn't really like Far From Home because Mysterio once again was connected to Tony effing Stark. I'm like, why does everybody and every little thing in the MCU has to be connected to Tony Stark? That threw me off. And then his death scene or not death scene, whatever it was between Mysterio and Spider, I'm just thinking to myself, huh? Like I just. In the words of our good friend Randy Jackson, it's a no for me, dog.
Listen, I can answer your question, not rhetorically, going back to what Hollis said. The reason why it's connected to the Stark universe is all for marketing. It's not to advance the story at all.
Stupid. That's why I didn't like Far From Home. I didn't even bother watching No Way Home because the trailers already gave away the fact that all three originals come back and they team up against.
Well, there were. First of all, I'm a huge Mysterio fan, so again, I'm bringing my bias. But there was a couple of cool scenes. Remember where he was fighting against? By the way, this is all with drones. None of it's actually happening. But remember, it looked like he was another dimension, and it was his fears were in there. It had a little bit of sort of like The Empire Strikes Back, where Luke Skywalker, he was seeing, in the cave where he sees.
Remember that really old movie with the robots?
Yeah, right.
Because he makes fun of Star Wars in Civil War, which I thought was, hey man, you calling me old? Get out of my barn.
How old is this kid? I don't know. I didn't carbon date him, man.
Yeah, but dude, here's the funny thing about that though. They gave away that he shows up in Civil War when he says Underoos and he takes away Cap's shield. It's in the trailer, Timothy. But when we see it in the context of the movie in the theater, we still lost our mind. We knew the scene was coming.
By the way,
audience, when we see it,
the people that knew that were Marvel followers, we knew. Yeah, there was a lot of things.
But when you look at it in the context of the movie, it blows you away. What were you gonna say, Hollis?
I was just gonna tell Chris. I hope he enjoys the one more Spider-Man movie with Tom Holland that we're gonna get to potentially do that because Disney has announced that they are rebooting the MCU after Secret War. So I'm assuming Tom Holland is going to get the axe at that point, and we're going to get a new Spider-Man if we get any Spider-Man at that point.
He'll be okay. He'll be all right. Tom's got.
Is there Hollis? Is there one more movie, or is it done now?
One more. They said they're going to do one
okay.
more Tom Holland Spider-Man movie.
Oh, do we know what that one is?
I think what they've announced is that it's going to be Tom Holland versus the MCU Kingpin. That's what they're going to go for.
That actually sounds kind of cool.
That reminds me of the animated series,
which
from
may
94.
or may not include the Punisher. There's, I don't know that they've confirmed, but there are rumors that the Punisher will be.
John
in it.
Bernthal is going to pop
He
in
was
there.
good. I like
So we will see.
I was going to say, if he shows up, what about Daredevil? Because Daredevil and Wilson Fisk kind of have a rivalry, don't they?
He was already.
That's also on the table. I don't know if it's been confirmed yet, but there's people are saying that would make sense.
I mean, all these characters have interacted with each other in the comics, right? So I've read or seen on the screen, at least small screen, with TV iterations of Spider-Man anyway, where Spider-Man does interact with both Matt Murdock and Frank Castle at certain points. So if you can do it in an animated show, you can do it in a movie. Just make sure you do it right. Don't screw it up. And Marvel's has done a lot of, from what I've been told, they've done a lot of screwing up lately. So I hope Marvel. Speaking of which, we talked about this earlier. Lucasfilm has had a lot of problems. The MCU has had a lot of problems. Can they course correct? I don't know. And quite frankly, no disrespect to people who work at Marvel, and no disrespect to the people who go to these things every single weekend of the year when the movies come out. I'm kind of done with Marvel. Like, I just don't really care anymore. I'm just kind of over it. I've kind of moved on to other things.
They know that.
Right? I just kind of
That's why
moved
they're
on.
rebooting. They know it. That's why they're rebooting.
But
because they know nobody cares anymore. So
the
they're
next
going to
crop of younger, hotter actors.
Yeah. Well, here's another thing for you too, Timothy. They're going to reboot the MCU and X-Men in the next Avengers movie. I think
it'll be
Avengers
an X-Men
Secret Wars
MCU, which I think is a good idea. Actually, I think that was a good call.
Even though they say reboot, Hollis, they just announced that all 30 members of the original X-Men 2000 movie cast are coming back. So
just for Doomed and
I think
Secret
just
War,
for the cameo
that's what
thing,
they're going to do. That.
Okay,
and
all
then
right.
and then it's done, and they'll reboot it, and they'll start over. And actually, a report just came out recently, like some inside stuff leaked from Disney, that they're aware that the Marvel movies aren't making a lot of money anymore, and so going forward, they're actually going to use a lot more unknown actors. So, like, the new MCU is not just going to be younger actors; it's going to be people we've never seen before, probably, because Disney just can't afford to hire the big names.
Did you? Someone brought this up on social media. Robert Downey Jr. was paid $500,000 for the first Iron Man.
Yeah.
The new one coming out with him as Doctor Doom, the new like they're putting him in as Victor Von Doom, right, or an alternate version of Doctor Doom. He's getting paid $200 million for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what? Like, are you out of your mind? Are you out of your Vulcan mind? Like, why would you want to pay him $200? Does Robert Downey Jr. look like he's going to cure cancer with $200 million? Hell no. But would I pay the guy $200 million? Heck no. Dude, if I'm a studio, I'm not paying him. Like, listen, I got numbers, guys. I got numbers. But there's no way, in my opinion, that one actor out of everybody in that movie is worth $200 million. I'm sorry.
That's
it's because it's their last desperate grasp at trying to do something with the MCU before they.
And will he fill the seats for that many tickets?
That's what I'm saying.
He probably will. I am always surprised by. Yeah, like when you talk about Endgame, wasn't that the $1 billion movie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
2019, 2019.
2 or 3 billion, yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know how they shake the math out.
Honestly,
but I do get it.
Yeah.
I understand why they would want to reboot with a younger cast of no names to sort of keep themselves, profitable. And
yeah, it's time for new actors in Hollywood to get a chance at stardom. Why don't we give them a chance, Chris?
So let me ask quick. They're rebooting, as we know, the whole Marvel thing, right? When they're going to bring the X-Men in, and they already have the space stuff, right? They already have the cosmic aspect.
Well, yeah.
If anybody remembers the comics, they had one of my favorite sets of characters is the Brood, which was an alien stand-in, right? It was like xenomorph style. So do you think what I would like to see now is if they're going to do this, bring in the actual aliens because they own them because the Alien Queen is
Marvel
now a Disney princess.
Yeah.
Disney princess, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Alien Queen from Aliens is a Disney princess now, guys.
Yep. So I'd like to see them, that kind of stuff brought in if they're going to do
that. Actually, yeah. One thing that we learned is that audiences seem to go bananas for these meta sort of crossovers and cameos, and it's sometimes is a big part of what movies are now. I just saw a review of. By the way, I didn't see this, so I can't really say. But Happy Gilmore too.
Yeah.
Which apparently is packed with cameos and references, and that's one of the reasons why some people liked it. Now, critics, a couple of them said, "Yeah, but it's a little too much."
They bashed it.
There should be more story, and we don't have to be seeing another familiar face every 5 minutes. I'm paraphrasing.
I think the cameo kind of thing should be like in Last Action Hero. If you've never seen the Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh my God.
Yeah, when he's walking into the police station.
Oh my God, the Robert Patrick's, the what's her name?
T-1000.
Sharon Stone is in there.
Yeah, that's the way the cameo should be done. Is quick, get it done, and
Dude, it's so funny you bring that up because I didn't think of it when I first saw the movie, but when I watched it again sometime later, I was like, and then the kid says, "Jack, did you see that? Like that was your enemy. That was the T-1000, bro. What are you doing?" Yeah. So yeah, it was great. It was good. And Sharon Stone has gone on record by saying, "I didn't originally want a cameo in Last Action Hero, but I did it as a favor to Arnie." I was like, oh, okay, well, makes sense. But then again, you did play his wife, his smoking hot wife, in sorry to say, but it's true in Total Recall, because you know what they say, Timothy, see you at the party, Richter.
What did you think of the Total Recall remake?
We could have gone without it, honestly, but at the same time, like, I don't hate it. I thought the beginning was good, but like halfway through. Yeah, it's just because everything is like the same action movie. It's the same action movie that every other action movie has been. But then again, Timothy, we did get the very beautiful Jessica Biel and Kate Beckinsale in there. So
yeah, I love Kate Beckinsale.
You can't say no to two of the most beautiful women in the world, bro. I'm just saying.
Man.
But
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
In the words of Bo Derek's movie, I give it a 10. A 10. Sorry. Did anyone remember Bo Derek's movie 10? I'm just saying.
Of course I do. Sure.
That's going back a bit. Sorry, I'm dating myself. Once again, this is the off the rails iteration of the Meaning of Fandom with Hollis co-lead in charge. I'm just here to do whatever, push some buttons. Chris is here with all the explanations that I can't put together, and then Timothy is here with so many fun facts it's making our heads spin. But thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like and share. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns about our health, about how crazy we're going with these tangents, let us know in the comments. Yeah, because people are wondering, like, what are these guys doing?
I would say that the Blade Runner sequel was actually pretty.
You mean 2049?
Yeah, 2049. Yeah, that one was earned. That one was all right. Although the video game was better.
I'm sorry to say, Blade Runner and Blade Runner 2049, I was bored.
Yeah?
I was bored. I didn't like them. I didn't like either film. I respect them because they were pinnacle for Harrison Ford at the time in the 80s, and Ridley Scott too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But I just don't care. It's boring. It's boring, man.
They both have some boring parts for sure.
They got some long extended cut, like what's his name? Ryan Gosling, who, by the way, he's the one who gives Ryan's a good name. Ryan Reynolds, not so much. But Ryan Gosling is just staring off in the distance, Hollis, and I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I don't get it. I don't know. That's just
what you're saying is it's Stephen King novel, the movie.
Exactly. Yeah. Hollis and I are like looking at each other, and Hollis is like, dude, these Blade Runner movies are like a Stephen King novel. I can't get through this, right, Hollis? Have you seen Blade Runner? Are you familiar with that property or not?
I have not. I know what it is, obviously, but I've never sat down and watched Blade Runner.
It's sci-fi without the horror, because it's just sci-fi. It's no horror, but if
you're that was based. If I recall right, that was based on a Philip K. Dick thing, right?
Yeah. What dream that took you to, or what is it? Robots Dream of Aliens.
Electric Sheep.
Which has been the basis for many movies, actually. It was also the basis for AI, artificial intelligence, which is a movie I have seen.
Oh, the other one? Okay. Well, that makes, hey, whatever works, right? So here's a fandom that hopefully will bring a lightheartedness to these today, unless I missed some. By the way, Chris, what is your favorite animated iteration of Spider-Man? Did we ever get that?
Me? No.
What was your favorite animated version of the character?
I grew up with Spider-Man and his Amazing Friends.
So, yeah.
It's still a fun series, even today.
Until I got into the 90s and I was out of the...
What's the girl's name? Firestar?
Firestar, Iceman.
Firestar, yeah. That was an original creation, too. She's not originally in the Marvel comics, is she?
That's right.
No, she was created specifically for that show. And to sell toys.
Just like Harley.
Yeah, well, Harley Quinn was an original creation before she was added into the DC Comics legacy there, folks. So there's a fun fact for you. What was it, Timothy? Do you remember Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends? Or Spider-Man?
I don't. I'm not quite as much of the animation people as some of you guys are, but I did see the Across the Universe, right?
Oh, Into the Spider-Verse. Yeah.
Spider-Verse.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I said Across the Universe.
Well,
That's the Beatles.
Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, that's another movie. Yeah, which I have seen. I've seen that one actually.
Do you like that one? Do you like that one, Hollis?
It's a mix for me. It's a mixed bag for me. I think there are parts of it that.
Do you like the Beatles songs remade at all?
Oh God,
I did actually like the Beatles songs remade.
Yeah.
I thought that was one of the stronger parts of the movie. It's not the soundtrack at all that I think it did. I think that was a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. The soundtrack kicked it out of the park. I think that, and it's what they call a jukebox musical, which is when you take pre-existing music and you try to string a storyline together.
Which is impossible, like Sgt. Pepper.
Which is impossible. And I give them credit because they did it better than most people do when they try to do something like that. So,
hey, are you a musical theater guy?
I do have a background.
Okay, what's your favorite musical?
Oh boy.
Oh,
now you're really gonna push him outside of his comfort zone.
Oh,
you can say it. I know which one he's thinking of, but you can say it.
No, there's a lot. That's the problem. Is I have to
try
to choose one.
Evil Dead the musical.
No.
Mean Girls. No, that's not it. Not Mean Girls. No.
Dang it.
What's that one that just came out like 5 years ago?
I'm gonna default to Company. Which is Company. It's a Stephen Sondheim one that's not his most popular.
But that guy. Okay.
It is a movie. You will only get it if you're a certain type of person.
Okay.
Because it is a musical about
what?
Marriage.
Oh, it is about marriage. Okay.
If someone like me, like when I was studying that film in class as an undergraduate, when the professor played the end part of it, the last number, I was literally in tears when he turned the lights back on. It's a very powerful show if you are somebody who is married or has any desire to be married, then it is a good show.
I'm gonna have to look this up. I never heard of this before personally.
Yeah, I know. You have to be a music theater nerd.
I am a little bit of one. I'll check that out. I'll put for my pick. I'll take Anything Goes with the Sutton Foster version. Chris, you got a favorite Broadway show? Well, wait a minute. Doesn't have to be Broadway. Yeah, let's say musical. So you can even pick a broad term. You could even use a movie if you wanted.
Or movie musical. We can use that too, right?
Well,
that's legal.
Honestly, you wouldn't know it to there's quite a few, and I actually have some friends that do it, and they did the Evil Dead musical. They did Nightmare on Elm Street the musical, but
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Listen, I'll never admit it anywhere else, but I liked Seven Brides for Seven Brothers.
And look at Hollis. He's cheering in the background of his studio.
I am cheering for you. I am so glad that you were able to admit that. That's awesome.
He's cheering for you, brother. Favorite musical. Well, I've been to a few. We walked out during the first intermission of Cats, so that can tell you how much I hated that one.
Yeah.
That is like the worst.
Yeah, well, my family and I, well, here's the odd thing about it. We were in New York City, the home of musical theater, and we went to see it on Broadway. And let me tell you something. As soon as the first intermission came out, because it was like a 6-hour musical, my parents, my brothers, and I all looked at each other, and we thought, yeah, we don't like this. We're leaving. And we walked out, Timothy. We walked out. And we never came back.
I'm so proud of you.
So
I am so proud
we learned
of you.
a very valuable lesson in the great city of New York that night when my family and I were there. This is all 5 of us, by the way, because I have 2 older brothers and myself. That's my parents. So, but my dad was a chaperone when my theater group in high school. We took trips up to New York City to see these shows. So I've seen Hairspray on Broadway.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's Baltimore. You know, I'm in Maryland.
Good Morning, Baltimore. Yeah. What a great
that's a Maryland thing for us here in Maryland, brother.
Yeah.
So I've seen Hairspray. I've seen what else did we see? A few other ones. But the one that
you ever see Rent?
Yeah. Did we see that on Broadway? I think we saw it. No, I saw the movie musical of it. The movie musical with Jesse L. Martin. Yeah. Saw that. It was okay. It was fun. I'm not the biggest musical fan, to be perfectly honest with you. But if someone asked me, guns blazing, gun to my head, whatever it's called.
Yes.
Does this? I don't know if this is a musical or not. Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Does that count or no? Or is that just a theater? Or is that just a play?
I don't know.
Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Does that count as a musical, Hollis? Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Do you remember that one?
I'm actually not familiar with that one.
Not familiar with that one? Well, it's about the 2 hustlers who scam people out of their money.
The Steve Martin and
Steve Martin.
Yeah. I like that one. Yeah.
But do they sing in it?
Yeah, I believe they do. I believe they do.
Maybe I just don't know. Let's go more mainstream for just a second.
Yeah, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels is probably my favorite musical /
because I know Broadway
show.
musicals you can fall in, and not everybody knows these. How
Mm.
about something more mainstream like Grease or Saturday Night Live or Hair? You like any of those?
People are going to hate me for saying this, but I actually didn't mind because I haven't seen the original musical version on like a musical stage or theater, whatever it's called. Phantom of the Opera with Gerard Butler and Emmy Rossum.
Yeah, sure.
I thought that was all right. People,
I was at their, I'm going to get the numberments, and like balloons came down and everything.
As to that one.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to, anybody, probably.
Oh, yeah, because people got hurt. Dialogue that's not sung.
I'd buy that. I'd buy that.
Les Mis.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Like, if we're going about mainstream musicals, like...
Yeah, which one?
Okay. I guess the defining question, yes, the music has to progress the plot. Like, stuff has to happen in the music. So that's why, for instance, I would still probably say, like, how do I put this? Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou is probably still not a musical because the songs, like, they're not integral to the plot,
right?
And that's kind of the thing about a musical is that it has to be like the music has to be a part of the story, a part of moving things along.
Here, I'll give you a harder one. Do you think then that, because I would say it is, but I get you would be breaking the rules maybe, is Saturday Night Fever a musical? Because that one breaks my own rule, because the music doesn't really advance the plot, but the two are so closely connected, right? And it's something like 18
I have
songs.
I have not seen Saturday Night Live, so I
Saturday
can't.
Night Fever.
Saturday Night Fever. Sorry, I haven't seen it.
Well,
so I can't say for sure. But if it is like Grease, in that, like, there are people partying and the music is like a part, like a realistic part of the thing, as in like it makes sense in the real world that people would be singing in here. I would say that if that's the type of thing it's doing, it would still count as long as, like I said, the music is part of the movie where stuff is actually
it
happening.
is, but it was, and you guys tell me if you think I got this wrong. They're not actually performing it. Like, they come out and dance at a disco and the song comes on.
Well, real quick before we dive into this further, I've been handed out by our producers, Chris. We wish you the best. You're the man. Thanks for joining us on this crazy, wild, weird adventure that doesn't make any sense to the other three of us here. But if someone wants to know more about you, Chris, where can they follow you?
Oh, Laughing Rogue PA on X, or Laughing Rogue Games on the Facebook, Laughing Rogue on YouTube. That's where I am. It's what I do.
Well, thanks for being here, man. Wish you the best. Sorry to take up so much of your time.
No, I got to get the kids and everything.
Oh, understandably so. But take it easy on yourself. Good luck with everything. And thanks for dropping your links in the chat. Make sure you check out Chris Brown's stuff, Laughing Rogue. And we'll see you soon,
Chris.
brother. Take it easy. Be well. Yeah, such a nice guy. But anyway,
I saw him when he came through Pennsylvania.
Oh, hey, everybody's connecting with each other. But yeah, last thing about musicals, and then I got to dive into the last fandom here before we call it a night. So what's on your mind? Anything else about musicals before I dive into the last and final fandom that we've been waiting to get
keep
to?
cooking, because I got to go to in about 15 minutes at most.
Oh yeah, you go ahead, Ryan. Get into it.
Gee willikers, you people in musicals. I don't understand you people, but
that was good. That was a fun part, though.
Yeah. Clearly, Hollis is a gentleman and a scholar. He knows too much for his own good. But let's talk about something that's a little more lighthearted, a little more festive. I don't know, maybe, or something like that. But here's our next fandom, so take a look at it.
You want to be making moves on the street, have no attachments, allow nothing to be in your life that you cannot walk out on in 30 seconds flat if you spot the heat around the corner.
He's here. I can feel it. A driven detective.
You search for the scent of your prey, and then you hunt them down. That's the only thing you're committed to.
It keeps me sharp, on the edge, where I gotta be. A professional thief.
Bank is worth the risk.
What's the estimate? 12.2 million.
You're on. On the streets of Los Angeles.
I want full surveillance. Round the clock, we never close, open 7 days a week.
You're fugitive number one with a bullet. It's double the risk here.
You're wrong. It's 4 times the risk, and I'm double the worst trouble you ever had.
You recognize the MO? MO is that they're good. If you think these guys are scoring once and passing through, I doubt it. Assume they got our phones, assume they got our houses, assume they got us.
If I'm there and I gotta put you away, I won't like it, but I'll tell you, you are going down.
What if you do got me boxed in and I gotta put you down? Because no matter what, you will not get in my way. I will not hesitate for a second.
Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Val Kilmer in a Michael Mann film.
Whatever score they're gonna take next, they're gonna have the surprise of a lifetime.
Well, okay. We've gone a lot deep into the trenches of horror and thriller and scary stuff and musicals and Spider-Man, who doesn't want to seem to turn off the dark at points in his career or his life, whatever. But now we dive into a crime thriller, if you will, which does has not a whole lot, but a few moments of, I wouldn't say comedy, but a little bit of levity here and there. And the speeches that and the scene, the iconic diner scene between Robert De Niro and Al Pacino is one of the most iconic pieces of cinema you're ever going to find, in my opinion. So Heat is a crime thriller. I love it. I didn't see it until many years ago for the first time because everyone's been telling me about it over the years. And I just haven't gotten around to it until that point. And I freaking love it. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. It's a 3-hour movie, but it flies. It goes by so quickly. And when the movie's over, you think to yourself, wait a minute, that was 2 hours and 45 minutes? That was 3 hours? What? How is that possible? It is possible to make a movie that is so good that you don't have to worry about the runtime, fellas. It's possible. It's very possible. It's rare, but it happens. So this movie turns 30 this year. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do a movie watch along for it like we would normally do because it's too darn long. And we like to have limits here in the studios, fellas, if you haven't noticed. So yeah, but I want to celebrate this because it turns 30. It didn't get any Oscar buzz, no Oscar nominations, no Oscar wins, I don't think, as far as I know. If I'm wrong about that, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. But how can a movie this good, if not this great, not get any Oscars on its mantle? That to me is a shocker beyond belief. But Pacino and De Niro should have got acting Oscars. I think Val Kilmer, you could have made an argument that he would have gotten supporting actor Oscar somewhere in there, right? I think Michael Mann should have been nominated for Best Director, and I think this film should have been nominated for Best Picture that year in 1994, 1995. So 1995 respectively. So if you're looking for a good time at the movies and you're looking for a crime thriller that's going to keep you on the edge of your seat and draw your attention from minute one and not let you go until the very, very last frame, this is the film to do it. So, Timothy, do you have any experience with the movie known as Heat between Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, and Val Kilmer?
I do. And what I was going to check was I'd be curious to see what did win Best Picture in 94 that it lost out to. Because I agree with you. I think you got talk about a killer lineup, right, for your cast. And
Ashley Judd, Tom Sizemore.
Yeah, it's a pretty powerful cast. And also your director, I think you...
Michael Mann.
Got a reasonable shot at Academy Award winner. But... yeah, let's get somebody furiously Googling and see what won Best Picture and who was Best Director in 1994 is what I'd want to know.
Well, it wasn't 94. The movie came out in 95, so it would have been the 1996 Oscars for
okay, gotcha.
Theatrically released. Because otherwise, I could tell you straight up, Forrest Gump won all the awards in 94. So, yeah, that was.
Well, that'd be a tough one to beat. Like I say,
that was the year of Tom Hanks, man. Like he won back-to-back Oscars with Philadelphia in 93 and then Forrest Gump in 94. So.
Because I would agree with you that it's a great movie.
It is a great movie. It's underrated.
But that said, I mean, it's no Godfather. It's no.
Well, here's the thing. I think it's 10 times better than Godfather. 10 times better. 10 times better. And I'm gonna die. I'm willing to die on that hill, my friend. I have seen The Godfather. Haven't seen Godfather 2 though, because people say Godfather 2 is way better than the first one.
What? Yeah, Godfather 2 is the best one.
People have said that. But in my opinion, between The Godfather, I'm making an offer I can't refuse, and Heat, brother, you are going down. I can watch Heat 10 times over more so than The Godfather. Hollis, do you have a thought on Heat?
No, I have not seen Heat. I'm sorry. So
well, then you got to get on it, son. You got homework to do.
It looks fun. I will say that based on the trailer, it looks fun. I'll tell you my reaction from the trailer of what I think the movie is about, and that might be amusing for you to tell me how right or wrong I am. Based on the trailer, what I assume this is about is a detective and a thief, a master thief, possibly gang
Yeah.
connections, mob
Yep.
connections,
Yep.
who are friends in their personal lives, but who are against each other in their professional careers. And they're out on like his biggest heist ever, and they're clashing over it.
I don't want to say
How
he's right
close
or
did I
wrong.
get?
I don't want to say how right or wrong he is, Timothy, because otherwise that would be considered a spoiler. So
Spoilers expire after 30 years, brother.
Okay, all right. Well, so they aren't friends. They don't like they have a respect for each other, but they're on opposite sides of the law. He's a master thief, but he's been doing it for so long he wants to retire. And in this last heist is his last job. And Pacino is hot on his trail and he's trying to put him down. That's what the movie's about. So it's about one thief wanting to retire and then a cop who just can't seem to he doesn't want to stop because he's so used to being a cop and doing all this that he sacrificed his marriages, his kids, and everything else because he chases guys like him around the block. That's my life. My life is a disaster zone. When you watch the diner scene, it's so good. It'll explain more of the different motivations between the two characters of Robert Pacino and Al Pacino and Robert De Niro, respectively. But watch the freaking movie, man. It's so good.
I tell you, what I think works against it here is Al Pacino and De Niro, right? They're
Yeah,
both in
Robert
it.
De Niro is the antagonist. Yeah.
Again, one man's opinion. Their other material is so strong that it overshadows this material. Because, like Godfather 2 in particular,
that one.
I think it's better movie than Heat. And also, there's one other one. It's slipping my mind at the moment.
Is it Taxi Driver?
Oh, I was going to say Scarface.
Oh, Scarface, the other one from the 80s.
Which
Yeah.
De Niro's not in there, but some of the Pacino performances stand out as very distinctive Pacino performances. Dog Day
Scarface being one of
Afternoon,
them.
Scarface, right?
Scorpio.
And I don't think for one reason or another, it isn't that this movie was a flop.
No.
But it is fair to say it's one of his lesser known movies.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably not the right way to phrase it.
Well, I mean, to a certain extent, it probably is. I'd have to do some research on that, but yeah. It's underrated, though. Heat is, in my opinion. So
yeah, I think so too. It's a good movie.
Yeah, Hollis, if you can carve out 245 to 3 hours of your time window, get on it, son, because that movie is one of the best crime thrillers of all time, in my opinion. I've seen some good crime movies over the years. I have. It's not like I haven't seen anything else but this one. I've seen others. But of the ones that I have, in fact, seen, Heat stands above a lot of them, if not all of them. At least that's just my opinion, though.
It would still be good even if it wasn't Al Pacino, Robert De Niro.
Well, yeah.
I mean, like I say, in a way that almost like your expectations are so high, right? You say De Niro and Pacino in a gangster film.
It's really good.
Your expectations go right to the ceiling.
Yeah, by the way, Lightspeed Spirit says, I love the Blade Runner films from earlier on. I like slow burn types of film. And then Freddie Parks is here. Hello, Freddie.
Oh, nice.
He says,
Hey, Freddie.
I'm late to the conversation, but as far as the movie Heat goes, Val Kilmer himself steals the show.
Yeah, Val Kilmer is in it. He's good in it.
Yeah. You need to see it, man. Got to add this to the list, Hollis.
Put it in the list. All right.
Put it on the list. In the words
I've seen it, but it was a long time ago.
It's good.
I Googled what won the Oscar in '96 for Best Picture, and it was Braveheart.
Braveheart. It was Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson's Braveheart. Yep.
Thank you.
That's the one that won.
That answers your question, Timothy.
Yeah.
Who won all?
Because I always like to see, because I think you have a good point. Like, why wouldn't that powerful of a team? If you're looking for an Oscar, that's your team.
I mean, that's Braveheart right there. They may take our lives, but they never take our freedom. There's your speech, Hollis. But that does it for me when it comes to Heat. Any other final thoughts on that? Any other thoughts on Heat, or are we good? Just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. But great film, great performances, great score too. Feel free to look up the score, ladies and gentlemen. I think you might enjoy that, Timothy, if you get a chance. So if you look up the score of the movie, like the original like the instrumental scores, some good. Moby does some scoring of that a little bit. The artist Moby. He did the what is it called? The theme song to the Bourne Identity movies. What's the name of the song? Gosh, but I can't remember, but it's there. It's gonna kill me when we're show.
For Heat, the composer was Elliot Goldenthal.
Right. That part of the score is good, but Moby contributed a little bit here and there to the
contributing
score.
artist.
Contributed to it, I believe. But it's good stuff. If you're to look it up, the Bourne Identity theme song by Moby, look that up. It's a good one. It's good stuff. It's turning out because that's a Matt Damon trilogy of movies. Or no, he made 4. There was Jason Bourne that came out in 2015, 2016, I think it was. But we all know how that went downhill. But I do like the Bourne Legacy though, with Hawkeye himself, Jeremy Renner. I like him in that movie. I like the Bourne Legacy. I know I'm in the minority here, but that's just me. That is going to do it for this episode of the extended cut episode. I would say the very extended cut episode of the Meaning of Fandom. Honestly, guys, I think this is the longest episode in the history of this show that we have done thus far.
We sidetracked on what are the odds of getting a bunch of musical fans together. I was
know,
actually happy about that.
Well, there was the musical fans discussion. There was the Spider-Man Day discussion, which I didn't know it was Spider-Man Day, Hollis. So thanks for telling us that as we're doing the show. If you had told me about it in the green room, I would have been like, okay, guys, write this down on your sheets of paper in front of you. What your favorite iterations of Spider-Man are, because we're going to go over them later in the show. But Hollis likes to surprise people. That's the key thing about Hollis. He's a surprise. You never know what you're going to hear from him. You never know what kind of opinions he's going to share on the docket, I would say. But it's in the best way possible, Hollis. I'm not dogging you for this. I'm not knocking you for this either, because...
Oh, I know. I took it as a compliment.
I really am not. I'm not giving you negativity. This is all positivity. But I do want to say thank you to each and every single one of you for being a part of this episode of the Meaning of Fandom. And thank you for joining us in the chat and the comments and all that jazz. Timothy B. Fling, you're back. You're back.
Yeah,
and the world is very happy about it. And I want to say on behalf of all of us here at Anti-Quote Studios, welcome back.
Thank you. That's very kind of you, Ryan.
We're happy to have you here. And if someone wants to know more about you and the incredible things you're doing over there, where can they follow you?
Well, I guess there's two ways. The number one way is I'm going to be on Substack primarily, providing writing samples, and I write a few columns over there. That's my name, at Timothy B. Fling. Or if you like, you can follow the Earth Dog Network on YouTube, and you'll see various shows that are somewhat similar to this one. If you're interested in the craft of making comics or want to talk about UFOs, I'm probably your guy. So I hope to see you there. And Ryan, hey, hopefully I'll see you out on the convention circuit sometime before the end of the year.
Yeah, it would be great. Yeah, I think my next show is probably, but it's kind of going not wishy-washy with it, but kind of 50-50. It may be Force 8 Comic-Con in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, can I give a shout out?
Go ahead.
I'll be at the Harrisburg Comic-Con. That's August 23rd and 24th.
There you go.
It is at the Farm Show building in Harrisburg. If you guys from Harrisburg know it, the big one, and it's going to be a heck of a good time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to possibly being there. I got some plans for it that I'd like to enact, and we'll see if it comes to fruition or not.
I hope you can make it.
And I hope to see you. I hope to see all our friends there. There's a couple of friends of mine that are going to be tabling or going to be walking around the convention floor saying hi to some other people. So I'm looking forward to that. Conventions, especially the smaller shows, are always fun, and they're great to meet people, network, and connect with the community. So that's always and there are some good charity organizations that are going to be there. I think the Charm City Ghostbusters are going to be there, or the Pennsylvania chapter of the Ghostbusters are going to be there, doing charity work or raising money for fun. Great stuff, great causes. Let's just put it to you that way. So check it out, force8comiccon.com. I think it's the website, Timothy. They can check it out, buy tickets, check out the booths, who's going to be there, who's going to be on the convention what am I trying to say? The convention floor. That's the expression. Good Lord, I'm losing.
And they're on Facebook too. You can just look up Harrisburg.
Yeah. Yep. Look up Facebook. It's all there, all the information there, and buy your tickets. Get some tickets.
In the capital of sunny Pennsylvania.
That's right. That's right. I almost forgot about that. See, I'm learning new stuff every day from Timothy B. Fling and myself. We learn from each other. Speaking of education, Hollis, you're a gentleman. You're also a scholar, and you're very good at giving dissertations on why you don't like certain things about pop culture. So someone very good at that. But if someone wants to know more about you and the incredible things you're doing over there on social media, and you got a few podcasts going on too, where can they follow you?
Yeah, so first I want to say, Timothy, it was a pleasure to talk with you, and your reputation preceded you with Earth Dog Studios.
Oh,
so
thanks. You heard of it.
That was a privilege. Yeah, I have. So that was a privilege. If you're interested if my insane ramblings have made you interested in checking out more, interestingly, I have a novella out right now called Vivian. That is a vampire novel written by somebody who, as you heard, doesn't like horror. So if you're interested in checking that out, you can buy it wherever you buy books online, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, et cetera, et cetera. If you are interested in hearing my voice more talk about these pop culture topics, I have two different podcasts. My first one is Sunday Morning Superheroes, where I talk about the connections between faiths, specifically biblical faiths like Christianity, Judaism, with superheroes and different superhero topics. So if you want to hear me talk more about why Batman is important to me as a Christian from a spiritual standpoint, I have episodes on The Killing Joke. Is that the only Batman text I've talked about? I don't know. If not, I need to add more Batman episodes, but you can hear me talk about that one and the gospel in it if you're interested. I also do a podcast with Kelly Gettner, the half of the Phoenix Sister cosplay group and also an author of awesome superhero books like Scorcher. And we are going through in that podcast called Comic Story, talking about the history of comic books. So we go through big earth-shattering events that happened throughout comic book history and important texts, important specific comics, things like that. We're going at random right now, but the goal is to one day have a huge playlist where we can go from the beginning to the present day of comic book history. So if you're curious about things like that, topics like seminal comic books like The Night Gwen Stacy Died, we have an episode on that. We have an episode on tropes like fridging or women in refrigerators. We have an episode about the time Superman fought the KKK, which did happen. If any of that sounds interesting to you, check us out wherever you listen to podcasts.
Thank you, kind sir, for being here. It was great to see you. Wish you all the best with everything moving forward, including especially those podcasts. My gosh, get something out of them each and every single time. Thank you, kind sir, for being with us. My name is Ryan of Anti-Quote Channel. Follow me across all foreign. Where am I pointing to? All foreign social media. Simply at Anti-Quote Channel. We're on the road to 5,000. Once we hit 5,000, we'll have a live stream that will include special giveaways that you, the person who's watching or listening to this program right now, are going to be eligible to win. Also, we got merch that's on sale in a Redbubble store. Link is in my social media bios and in our social media bios in the link tree there. We have hoodies, we got t-shirts, we got stickers you can add to your water bottles, we have coffee mugs, all kinds of wonderful things there. And yes, the rumors are true. As Timothy B. Fling brought up earlier, I'm a published author now, and my first story is a short story, and it's called Wolf of the West, and it's a part of this anthology right here presented by Veritas Entertainment, called Western Tales Volume 1. It is available on Amazon in both ebook, paperback, and hardcover. We took the liberty of posting the link to both Hollis's book, Vivian, in the comment section below, and also the anthology that I'm a part of in the comment section below of this episode of The Meaning of Fandom, which you may be watching or listening to right now. So check it out. Leave a review. Reviews are very helpful for all of us as writers and publishers. So please leave a review. Share with your friends, your neighbors, your coworkers, your frenemies. There's a word for you, Hollis, frenemies. But it's great stuff. I am so happy and honored and proud to be a part of this. I look forward to doing an unboxing once I get my copy of the book. I'm going to share it with all of you. But if you're a fan of the Old West, you might want to saddle up and check out my story. It's called Wolf of the West, among many, many others that are part of that anthology. So definitely check that out. Thank you so much for being a part of this episode of The Meaning of Fandom. This normally goes down on the first Friday of every month. And then we have movie watch-alongs that go on the second, third, and fourth Fridays of every month at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Boy, do we have a set of movies for the month of August for you. My goodness gracious, you're going to be amazed, maybe even shocked at what movies turn a certain age here for the month of August. So tune in for that. Thank you for being a part of this. Do not forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, ring the bell to be notified when the videos go up or they go live. Remember, life is better when supporting indie creators from all over the world. Take a look.
I've been a superhero for a long time. It used to be so simple. You catch the bad guys, do the right thing, save the world. Then I met Aiden, and things got complicated.
Iris recruited me as a kid and turned me into their own personal weapon. I couldn't see any way out until I met Marty. But now we're going to burn their entire organization down if we can.
Forces of Nature, books 1 and 2, Scorcher and Thin Ice are available now wherever books are sold online. See www.kellygentner.com.
There it is. Luckily for you, you won't have to go through half of what I went through to get your copy. All you have to do is place an order. Treasure is My Trade is out now. Don't miss your chance.
All right, I'm a little tired, a little wired, and I think I deserve a little appreciation.